High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit, not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Valley of Plenty, also known as the Payette River Valley and the Emmett Valley, as the Huskies of Emmett High School get ready to open their Southern Idaho Conference defense battles against a new opponent in the Skyview Hawks. Yes, the Huskies are the two-time defending Southern Idaho Conference 4A champions, but they've got their hands full and they know it. They've got 5 games ahead of them in conference play, and the first one starts here tonight as Skyview has returned to the 4A ranks after a 4-year stint in the 5A ranks, and they bring in a team here that has scored a lot of points so far this year. But they've also given up a lot. So the question tonight is it going to be a track meet, or does one of these defenses show up and put a stamp on the season?
That is really the question, Dell. And something that Hargett said at the beginning of the season, coach of the Emmett Huskies, was that he wanted to be 3-1 starting this first half of the season. Well, Huskies are 2-1. They need a win here tonight to make that dream a reality and set them up really well for the rest of the season. But not only that, but for the playoffs as well.
For the Hawks, on the other hand, they're 0-4 right now, despite the points that they've been able to put on the board. And part of that, in talking with Coach Young, he's got a very young football team. He starts 3 sophomores on that defensive side of the ball, and that can be a big factor, particularly in the secondary. So it'll be an interesting matchup between these two teams tonight. Could be a high-scoring affair for a while, then maybe then some defense will step in. We'll just have to see, because it's going to be interesting. Skyview opened the season with a 35-61 loss to Elko, a game they led in the first half. Then they fell to Cuna 48-35, dropped a 35-24 decision to Middleton, and then last week had a lead going into the fourth quarter and lost to Valley View 64-42.
Yeah, definitely a first half team. They seem to just kind of fall off when that fourth quarter runs around, which is not something you want to see. Whereas the Emmett Huskies, on the other hand, are very much a second half team. They come out really strong after the half, and they've been putting up big numbers in the second half. So it'll be interesting to see come third or fourth quarter how this game starts to develop and change. I expect, well, we're hoping for a very defensive first half, but we'll see how it happens.
Yeah, I kind of doubt that, but we saw an interesting ball game at Baker last week when the Huskies picked up their second win of the season, a 55-21 win over Lake City. That was a game that they actually trailed early in the second quarter, 20-7, and then they turned it around, came back, got the lead by 1 with about 90 seconds to go in the first half, and after they held Baker to a 3-and-out, They got the ball back with just seconds left about midfield, and everyone thought, okay, they'll take a knee. No, quarterback Dakota Perry reared back, went 50 yards into the end zone, and got a touchdown to end the first half. They got the lead, and then blew up in the second half to take the 55-20 win. We're just about ready to go, and it looks like Skyview is going to do the kicking off. Back deep for the Huskies will be, looks like Isaac Brennan with Joe Loomis up further, but it'll be taken on the bounce on the front, the far side of the field, about the 30, and returning it up to about the 40-yard line. Took a couple of tackle attempts before Carson Alder was brought down. First time we've seen Carson carry the ball in a return position, but they must have been looking at the ball game last week, because between Loomis and Brennan, they had over 200 yards of return yardage in kickoffs against Lake City. And we always can, once you do that, do they start kicking away? Certainly Skyview did. But the Huskies will get their first opportunity at their own 40-yard line. Calling signals, of course, quarterback Dakota Perry. He's a senior in his first year starting. Has 2 men in the backfield. In there is Rye Fullerton, and in motion goes Brennan, and they're going to flyer it out into the flat to Brennan. He sidesteps but gets nothing. Great defensive play by number 7 for the Hawks. That's Riker Oswald, one of those 3 sophomores starting on the defense.
Riker, though a sophomore, is not small. He's built pretty tanky, and he's going to win those battles out in the flat.
And we'll be talking about that, because these are not small sophomores they have going, and they're key positions. Handoff on the coming around off of the end. I believe that would be Daniel Walker.
21.
Nope, it was Brennan. Now, instead of coming out of the backfield, he came out of the slot. He took it forward for a 5-yard gain, right to the 45. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Huskies, nearing midfield on the opening possession of this ball game. We're not even a minute into this one.
Brennan continuing to be the Swiss Army knife of the team. Comes off the end again. It takes the handoff, but then hands it off again underneath to number
Fullerton.
25, Fullerton, who is going to get that second effort and get about 3 on the play.
But well short of the first down. Didn't Skyview doing a good job defensively to stay in position and not be confused by the double handoff.
They are going to go for it. There's no punting team out. So on a 4th and 3, we'll see what they can do.
These could be huge in a game where offenses have been kind of at the forefront for both of these teams this year. Perry taking his time. Maybe he's trying to draw him offside. No, yeah, he's going to do the punt now, the quick punt. Comes to the near side, hits, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Dakota Perry didn't really have a lot of space there, but no one was coming after him, and he knew he had a lot of, he was protected, so he went ahead and put it up. And Skyview will start at the 32, and they will do that with one of the top-rated 4A quarterbacks in the state, and that is no other than Max Cutforth. Cutforth has been firing the ball from behind the center for the last couple of years for the Hawks, and he probably is considered one of the top 2 or 3 4A quarterback prospects in the state when it comes to colleges. He has some good stats, just needing to get a little bit more help from the rest of the team.
The biggest problem Skyview's running into is they just don't have the weapons that he needs to really make a difference. Here, the pitch going over to number 7, Riker Oswald.
And he's fumbled. And I believe the ball has been covered by Emmett, and on top of that, I believe, was 18, Stevie Howe. So the first handoff goes for a 5-yard loss to Oswald, but the ball is stripped, and the Huskies take over deep in Skyview territory.
As we were just talking about, Cutforth needing those weapons, needing that help in the backfield, and first play of the game doesn't get it, gives the ball away, and it ends up giving back to Emmett. So not a good start for the Skyview Hawks.
Well, they still haven't been damaged on the scoreboard, so the Huskies got to do something with this. A short possession starting at the 27-yard line. Ball's on the ground on the snap, but Perry picks it up. He's looking downfield, keeps racing, and he's going to throw an interception, but the receiver's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, the defensive player had a foot down out of bounds, so it's going to be called an incomplete pass, even though it was picked off.
I'm not sure who he was looking at. He was looking into the sun there, but it looked like he was looking exactly where he threw it, and that was to the defender.
I think he was trying to throw it out of bounds, and the defender was out of bounds when he caught it. So that probably was the choice, but, you never know with these high school players.
If you're going out of bounds, make it 10 yards out of bounds, not 2.5 feet.
It's funny, though, that 15 15-yard pooch punt that we thought was a big mistake ended up being a 20-yard gain after that fumble.
Perry keeps it this time at the quarterback keeper. He'll get a couple of yards inside the 25, maybe to the 22. Looks like they may even give him all the way to the 23. So we'll call it a pickup of 4. And 3rd down and 6 coming up for the Huskies in Hawk territory. Right now, Emmett is trying to get some kind of penetration on the line, and they're not getting it. Now, we watched this last week against Lake City. They didn't get it in the first quarter, but as the game wore on, all of a sudden the Emmett line took control of that ball game. Snap. Handoff goes to Fullerton. He's got a man on his jersey, and he's going to lose yardage all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. And it'll be 4th down and 10, and the Huskies do nothing with this possession. It's a 3 and out, but you're deep in their territory, so it's obviously not a punting situation. I think it's a little bit deep for a Welling field goal attempt.
This is one of those plays where you kind of have to get in the Hargett mindset where maybe you take a shot down at the end zone. It's a risk, but they're not going to be expecting it. As you can see, the entire defense is within 10 yards of the line, so the end zone is open. If I'm Hargett, I take a shot down deep.
If you get the protection you need for Perry, Fullerton staying in to do it. They are firing it down, and it's off the fingertips of Stevie Howe. A great defensive effort there by Riker Oswald, as he may have got even a piece of that ball and tipped it, and it goes for naught. So the Huskies turn it over on downs. 3 and out, or actually 4 and out in this case, and Skyview's going to get the ball right back about where they fumbled it.
Yeah, so Skyview pretty much just ends up with a net 0 there on their defense, which is exactly what you want. This team has been giving up a lot of points in their last 4 games, so to see a defensive stop that didn't gain anything is a great start for this Hawks team.
Both, we talked about, will it be offensive or defensive? The early indications looks like the defenses are winning this one, and they're certainly going to win this handoff, as the handoff goes to Andrew Schneider, I believe. Was that 3 that was carrying the ball?
Yes. Yep.
And 3. He's going to, they're going to give him back to the line of scrimmage, it looks like. About the 27. So 2nd and long coming up for the Hawks. 2 receivers split out to the top of your screen, 1 to the bottom. That's Oswald down here. Cutforth fires it out, gets it out into the flat, gets a completion, and was it complete with a fumble, or was it?
It is called a fumble, so Emmett gets the ball again.
Thad Robinson came up with the reception, but it was knocked away as he went. No, now they're going to call it an incomplete pass. I was going to say, the way it scooted out of there from that angle, that's a tough one to be a catch and fumble. So it'll be an incomplete pass, 3rd down and 10 at the 27 for the Skyhawks.
Skyview getting a huge break there. If that had stand as it was originally called by the far line judge, that would have been an absolutely horrendous start for this Skyview team to start both their first drives with fumbles.
But they didn't, and they're still alive with a 3rd and long. Cutforth fires it out to the near side. He finds Robinson again. He's going to make the catch. Loses the ball this time, though. It goes up into the air. It's picked up by Brennan, and Brennan's going to take it in for the score, I believe.
Yep,
it is.
A
the
touchdown.
Official on the near side. So
Emmett.
Isaac Brennan with a fumble recovery and return of 35 yards.
2 fumbles in a row for Skyview. This one, though, obviously the more costly one, ending up with 6 points for Emmett. If I'm the Skyview coach, I'm getting pretty upset right now, and I'm talking to my ball handlers.
Well, no, he's talking to his team, a very young team, because we're dealing with young receivers that the ball's getting to them from Cutforth, but they haven't been able to hold on to it. And I don't know if that was something that Emmett actually scouted, was watching, because it looks like they're almost playing soft on the defense, but waiting to be able to strip when the ball gets there. And obviously it worked there, and now they're looking for the extra point with 7:51 to go here in the first quarter. And the kick by Welling looks good, or did it fade to the left?
It's going to be called left.
It just a little bit wide left for Welling, and so the score will remain Emmett 6. And Skyview nothing. We'll have the Husky kickoff coming up in just a moment. Hannigan Auto Sales has been locally owned and operated for nearly 100 years. And you don't stick around that long unless you treat every customer who walks onto the lot just like family. Hannigan Auto Sales and Service, a full-service dealer that can take care of everything before, during, and after the sale. They have the in-house financing, full-service auto detailing, and a repair shop run by the best vehicle experts around. You won't find a better place to buy or service your next used car, truck, or SUV than Hannigan Auto Sales and Service on Washington Avenue in Emmett. Give them a call at 365-5050. Was in yesterday, got a quick lube, and then, of course, I got the list of all the things that are wrong that I need to put on my checklist to take care of later.
That has always been the story of your vehicle. You really need to get on that, and, I mean, goodness.
This is a great one I got from them. So I'm happy, and they're just the things you just got to do maintenance, you know?
Yeah,
and then I'm not real good at maintenance.
Well, it's always good to not have your tail light hanging out the back of your vehicle, but, you know, you'll get to it eventually, I guess.
It sort of becomes your trademark,
okay,
you know?
Yeah.
Well, beautiful night for football here at Husky Stadium. Looking out across the way, a nice white cumulus lifting. I think cumulus, or do we have a smoke cloud raising on the far side of the foothills here? But it's kind of isolated there, but it doesn't look like a fire cloud to me. So
well, much better than last week. Most of the Valley's games ended up getting canceled because of the poor air quality, but it's cleared up a lot. Luckily, the rain came down and took all that smut and put it on my vehicle, but whatever.
Welling's kick taken at the 20 is going to be returned by Cohen Smith, I believe, number 8.
I believe that's number 9.
Oh, okay,
Leon
9.
Hensley.
So Hensley with the return, and he'll get about a 15-yard return. Decent field position for the Hawks to start at their own 38-yard line. So they're looking to get their first penetration into Husky territory if they can pick up a couple of first downs. In fact, looking for their first down of the football game. And Huskies offense doesn't have any more numbers to work with themselves. It's been their defense that scored here tonight. So
no, we have yet to have a first down in this game, actually. So.
I think you're absolutely right. And we're going to have
a holding call.
Definitely. It was a completion out to Andrew Schneider that gets really no yardage. In fact, might have even lost a yard. We'll have to see if the Huskies might even decline the holding call, make it 2nd and 10, or do they make it 1st and 20 back inside the 30. And looking at the way the players are marching, it appears Huskies are going to accept that penalty. And Skyview now faced with first down and 20 at their own 20, let's call it the 28-yard line.
So far, the Skyview offense now operating at negative 20 yards.
Excuse me.
For their offense.
And knocked them back 15 yards.
Oh, wow.
There must have been a personal foul.
No, the holding call is a penalty from the location.
Okay, so it was 5 yards in the backfield.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it works as a 15-yard penalty. So 1st and 25, screen pass out to the side to Thad Robinson, and Robinson holds on to it this time, but loses his footing as he tries to make the turn. And now we have a whistle. And I'm not sure what the official.
Yeah, our receiver's helmet came off at the end of the play, so he has to leave the field in order to come back in. He has to leave the field for one play, get his helmet back on, and come back on with it on.
So Robinson goes out, and he'll be replaced by DJ Rostai coming into the lineup for the Hawks. Rostai looking for, where do I go? Where's my slot? And the receivers right now doing a little bit of shuttle back and forth. One to watch out for is Mason Cron, 6'2", 210-pound sophomore. Started as a freshman last year, has not seen the ball yet. He's coming over the middle, and they're looking for him. No, they're going deep, and they're going to fire it over the top, and just missing Riker Oswald. Good defensive play by number 3 for the Huskies. That's Ryder Scheibe. Scheibe, a sophomore, and he saw his first action last week, a significant action at Baker. He's actually playing for Quentin Smith, who is out with an injury, has kind of a hip flexor, and I was talking with Quentin before the ball game. He's probably got a couple of weeks of physical therapy before they're going to let him have the green light. All he knows is when that Bishop Kelly game rolls around in October, he's wanting to be on the field.
Well, Scheibe, though the sophomore has really stepped up and played excellently. We talked about him playing last week. Was absolutely shut out at Baker. So definitely a new face, but not a weakness on this Emmett defense. The ball goes deep and is just overthrown
Boy, Cutforth was looking for Robinson downfield, who had just come back in after the exchange, and he had plenty of air on that and a lot of yardage, but there were also 3 defenders chasing Robinson down the field.
Scheibe, Conklin, and Isaac Brennan all there on the coverage. They were all over him, so.
Trying to figure out, we haven't seen much of Stevie Howe, who has been so dominant, but now I have started to realize why. Howe has drawn the assignment of shadowing Mason Cron. Cron is a big wide receiver, a linebacker, just a sophomore, started as a freshman last year for the Hawks. And I got a chance to talk with him before the ball game. I just knew the minute I saw him that he had a resemblance to me. His grandfather, Ken Cron, was the head coach at Bishop Kelly and later Ontario. He's now the athletic director up at Lewiston High School. But he looks like his grandpa, and he has the size and the athleticism as well. Here comes the quick pick. It'll be taken at the 38-yard line. Bringing it back is Loomis. Loomis with a big run. Gets it back inside Hawk territory. We have a flag all the way back at midfield. That's usually against the reception team.
Which is confusing. I didn't see any defensive players there for Skyview, so I'm not sure what the call is going to be. It's going to be a holding call on Emmett on the return. Not sure who was held, but...
Well, somewhere Loomis was about 10 yards upfield before he got to where the flag was thrown. So someone, not on the far sideline, but interior, was trying to keep a Hawk from joining in the chase. And as a result, that'll put the Huskies back in their own territory, nullifying the vast majority of that return by Joe Loomis. Last week against Lake City, after Lake City had scored on its opening possession, Loomis took it from about the 3-yard line and was tripped up all the way down at the 11, and that kind of set the stage for the return game for Emmett in their win against the Timberwolves of Lake City. Handoff inside to Fullerton. He's going to get a little running room this time. His first real design carry of the ball game will get 6 yards out to the 45-yard line. Fullerton averaging 132 yards a ball game during the early parts of this season, usually getting around 18 carries. So he's has a nice 7.9 per carry average. You can take that to the bank every year.
Those are numbers college players hope for.
Perry fires it out to the near side, finds Howe. Howe gets hit at the line to gain and then powers forward. He'll fall into Hawk territory at the 48-yard line. And the Huskies get, I believe, the first official first down of this ball game with 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Net-wise, we have an overall negative offensive yardage for both teams combined. So that is the first down of the game.
Second handoff goes to Howe, coming around, gets it from Fullerton. He cannot break away from the tackle, though. That was who else but Mason Cron, putting the stop from his linebacker spot and saving what, if he'd gotten past Cron, he had a lot of green turf on the far side. He only gets a yard out of it. 2nd and 9 coming up.
Emmett once again playing that smash mouth football that we talked about last week out in Baker. Their offensive line tends to not get much push, but they keep grinding that defensive line down, and come second, third, fourth quarter, you really start seeing the gains.
Loomis is only going to get a yard here because great penetration on the line of scrimmage by 55, Daniel Hernandez. And Hernandez drops. In fact, they're going to just make it a line of scrimmage, no gain. And 3rd down and a long 9 coming up for the Huskies just inside Skyview territory.
That's already the 3rd time Hernandez has gotten a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. So far a fantastic game for the senior.
Perry with a low snap, picks it up, looking downfield, fires it to the near side, and Howe comes up with the ball, but he's out of bounds. And got a little bit of help, but I think his momentum was taking him out anyway, so an incomplete pass. And right now, Skyview's defenders are doing a great job of covering the downfield receivers for the Huskies on the slide patterns and forcing them to really tightrope the edge and be out of bounds when the completion gets there from Perry.
It's been a really tight defensive game for both of these teams, and we talked about this at the start of the game. looking for these first half to be very much more defensive and then see it to loosen up in the second half.
So the sophomore Schreibe is going to be doing the punting now. No surprise play here from the quarterback. Schreibe is, however, a JV quarterback as well. So it gives you that threat, but he gets a little more distance out of this one, but it still goes out of bounds at the near side. He's banging his helmet, not happy with the call. And as they march it off, we're going to be at the exact same 32-yard line where the last punt went out of bounds. So Skyview, again, this will be their fourth possession. Let's see. Fourth possession.
Fourth possession of the game.
And remember, they kicked off. So the Huskies have had 4 possessions and have done nothing with them as well offensively.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Excuse me, they've had 3. No, they've had 4. This will be the 4th for Skyview. So this will even it up with possessions and see if they can pick up their first down of the ball game. Cutforth calling signals. We thought it would be a shootout. It's turned it into a lot more of a defensive battle, but a nice quick completion on the quick out to Robinson, and that'll pick up about 7 yards.
Scheibe on the coverage.
Look how that's 6 at the 37-yard line. Again, quick pass out to the near side to Robinson. They're going to give, Robinson, and they're going to give him the ball, the completion, and he's going to be very close to first down yardage at about the 41. We'll have to wait and see if they're going to go ahead and mark it and say, yep, wagons ho, and the Hawks will load it up with their first down.
Hawks taking better care of that football so far.
Receivers 2 split to the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top. Cutforth has a man in motion, but he's not going to hand it to him. He's going to hand it to the first man inside. That's Andrew Schneider, and Schneider's going to get 3, maybe 4 yards as he falls forward across the 45-yard line. Look how that 2nd and 6 coming up for the Hawks.
Rye Fullerton coming from the back position to get that tackle.
Right now, both teams really trying to find a soft spot, and they're not finding any. They're maybe making completions, but not getting the yardage they want with it.
Very much testing the waters of these defenses, not really looking for anything big. Handoff going on the far side.
That was a great fake, and the handoff back to Andrew Schneider on the reverse as misdirection was coming to the left. Schneider takes it back to the right. He's going to be short of the first down, but it'll be 3rd and very short right at midfield for the Hawks. So they're a sneeze away from being in Husky territory. Cutforth fakes the handoff. No, he gives the handoff to Schneider. He then cuts back, gets first down yardage. He'll get more inside the 45 to the 44. Nifty running by Andrew Schneider, the 5'9", 190-pound senior. And looked like for a moment there was going to be a fake handoff, and Cutforth was going to keep it. But he gave it to him, and then Schneider made that on his own as he found his own space in the defense and was able to pile forward for the 2nd consecutive first down for the Hawks. And they're on the move with 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's Emmett 6 and Skyview nothing, but the Hawks threatening.
Hawks looking to get on the board by the end. Quick pitch out to number 2.
Robinson gets the pitch, and the coverage comes back quickly, making the stop for the Huskies. Number 5, that is Calvin Conklin. He'll get a couple of yards. In fact, we'll give him 3 up to about the 41-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Skyview. And right now, that's exactly what Skyview's doing, is a lot of motion and a lot of pitch and trying to stretch that interior line of the Huskies and force the linebackers to come up. But when you got a quarterback with Cutforth, you have to think they're doing that to try to get that secondary spread a little bit so they can attack downfield.
Yeah, it's what we call clearing the box. They got to get more people out of that center of the field zone just to give yourself more options. Once again, the handoff here comes straight up the middle.
Carlo Lamos gets the handoff, 5'9", 220-pound senior, and there's your stereotypical fullback right there. And he ran like a fullback for about 3 yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 3 coming up for Skyview.
You'll see that's exactly what we're talking about, though. With the Emmett defense, they have too many people in that box, and you hit that box and can't get any more yardage. So they really are trying to probe, spread out this defense, and give themselves more options.
Cutworth with the handoff again to Lamas, and Lamas is going to be nailed by Daniel Walker in the backfield. He's going to lose a couple of yards. Walker lost his helmet, so he will not be there for the fourth down play that's coming up defensively for the Huskies.
And this is really the big question. Do the Huskies go for it? Yeah, they're in Emmett territory, but they're not even quite yet to the 40-yard line. So,
I don't think there's any doubt they're gonna go for it. I don't think either of these teams want to use a punt unless they're in their own territory. And Cutforth is going to have Lamos beside him on the right side. He's got a little bit close, but he's got a man in motion in Robinson that moves out to the end. They're going to look to Robinson coming over the middle of the field. They're going to fire it back, and they're going to miss the connection, looking for Mason Cron. He could not stretch out his 6'2" body enough to come up with that pass from Cutforth, and the Huskies will get possession on downs at their own 41-yard line.
I don't like that play calling, Dell. I'm going to be honest. He wasn't even in first down territory where he was going to catch the football. So even if he had caught the football there, it still wouldn't have been a first down. Would have had to make the extra effort to get first down yardage.
I think they were counting on more attention being given to Cron and leaving Robinson on that cut down the middle. He was kind of running a post pattern right through the middle of it, but he had plenty of defenders on him too. So Cutforth didn't have too many options to work with. Perry Collins signals, has Fullerton in the backfield with him. Hands it off, and Fullerton's going to take it right up the middle for a 5-6 yard gain. And now we're going to have a late flag coming in, and that one is often face mask.
That's either face mask or horse collar. I didn't quite catch which way his head jerked. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be personal foul face mask, as you called, Bill.
And you could see it because the Hawks were backing up immediately. So that 7-yard gain becomes a 22-yard gain. And the Huskies have it at the Skyview 38-yard line. We have 35 ticks to go here in the first quarter. A somewhat relatively surprising low-scoring first quarter. It's 6-0 Emmett. And the clock is running as Perry calls signals. Fullerton set beside him on the right side. Bottom of the screen is Howe. Perry's going to keep it. Now he fires it over the middle, and he finds 21. That's Brennan. Brennan in a little bit of a laydown for that pass, but he found a little spot in the defense to pick up 9 yards. So, or 8, we're going to give it right to the 30-yard line. He's got to get to the 28 for a first down, and that is the end of the first quarter. We've completed 12 minutes of play at Husky Stadium in Emmett. It's Emmett 6 and the Skyview Hawks nothing.
We'll be right back right after this.
Why spend 15 minutes quoting your insurance with one company? Go to biginsurance.com and let leading insurance companies shop for your insurance. You can even chat with one of our agents standing by, only at biginsurance.com.
Mountain West Building Supply has everything you need for your next project. Whether you're a professional contractor or a do-it-yourself home fixer-upper or just one who putters like me, lumber, paint, hardware, and more can be found at Mountain West. Located just 2 miles west of Emmett on Highway 52, they've got all kinds of sheds that are ready for delivery. That's right, pre-built sheds. You're not going to have to do all that squaring and straightening. Just go order it, they'll deliver it, and it'll be there just in time to put all your stuff away that you've been scattering around all summer before the snow flies. Proud supporters of everything Husky Blue. Mountain West Building Supply, 365-7580. Get out and see them for all your building supply needs.
Scoreboard currently says 15 minutes. It's only a 12-minute quarter here, so they're going to make that adjustment.
Yeah, we'll have to give the scoreboard operator a bad time as I think he's got a college game he's doing here today.
It's been a very uncharacteristic first quarter for both these teams, both not putting up many points. The only score was a fumble recovery that went back for 6. So very defensive, not much offense. And it's something we kind of talked about. Both these teams are kind of probing the defense, kind of just testing the waters, trying to see what they can do and what's open. And so far, nothing's been given. So definitely an uncharacteristic first quarter for the Emmett Huskies.
And neither team has really gone for a home run ball. I mean, we've had a few passes toward downfield, but not really the other than the one fourth down that they did. And that's what the Huskies just did. Somehow Rye Fullerton got wide open on the far side of the field, and Dakota Perry gives him a rye bread basket to put into the end zone.
Just a nice little lob into the end zone. Nothing special, nothing crazy about it. Just simple, fundamental throwing there. And if I had to guess, I would say it was probably a zone coverage mistake by the defense. It looked like the corner had flat coverage, stayed and let the defensive guy go past him, hoping that his safety would cover him over the top, but there was no coverage.
No, safety had been already pulled to the other side to cover somebody else. So Welling in there to kick the extra point. Let's see if he can connect on this one. He missed on his first one. This one looks good, and it is. So Welling with the extra point. We are only 6 ticks into the second quarter, and the Huskies have extended that lead to a 13-0 advantage. And not that I'm Nostradamus by any means, but you just kept feeling that at some point you had to take a strike, and that one just snuck up and was there like pudding.
Well, we talked about it. They were probing the first quarter. Now that you found their weaknesses, you found their holes in their defense, now you can start making those kill attacks.
Well, we'll see if that's exactly what happens here as we get ready for the Huskies to come up with their another kickoff in this ball game. Gem Supply and Building Co-op in Emmett, the helpful place for all your building and hardware needs. They offer friendly, knowledgeable personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience from local experts who know you best. Visit them at 402 North Washington Avenue in Emmett. They're open 7 days a week. Gem Supply Co-op, wanting to wish the Emmett boys the best of luck in the game tonight. Go Huskies, and if you're still wanting to do a little green thumbing, they've got some plants that are at really great discounts right now, and you can still get a little bit of harvest over in the next few weeks before frost sets in. Welling ready to kick it off for the Huskies. It's going to kind of squib it, and it's going to roll, and will it go out of bounds? It does at the 29-yard line. And just simply letting it go out of bounds was Mulligan Knudsen, number 23. He just watched it and saw that it had the English that was going to spin it out. Instead of trying to pick it up, he's going to take the extra yardage, which is only 5 yards, that you get for going out of bounds. So Skyview, again, in that 30 to 40 range. They're starting at the 35. They started at the 32 2 or 3 times in this one. So a familiar territory, not with their backs against the wall, but down 2 scores, they've got to be feeling they need to move. And the last possession, 3 first downs, they did move the ball into Husky territory.
It's been moving in the right direction, but if you're Skyview, you've really got to get points on the board on this drive. You don't want to let these Emmett Huskies get too far ahead of you, because we saw last week, once they get a 2-3 score touchdown or score lead, it's hard to come back.
Thad Robinson will get about 4 yards on the off-tackle play, moving out to the 39-yard line. Skyview has already they've played one more game than the Huskies have, and that was a conference game last week against Valley View, and they had 42 points up early in the fourth quarter and had a lead, and they gave up 20 straight. I think 24 straight, maybe it was, maybe 28. Anyway, the Valley View came back and put up 62 to get the win in the first SIC game for each of them. And we have a ball. Is it on the ground? If it is, I believe Skyview still recovered it. I don't know. We got a couple of wrestlers down. Nope, there's Skyview guys holding on.
Skyview ball, yep.
Yeah, in there on top of that, thinking that he'd get a handle on it was Daniel Walker, but he does not. And it's really no gain on the play. So 3rd down and 6.5 coming up for the Hawks at their own 38.5-yard line. Cutbirth, that's not Cutbirth getting signals. That's Mason Cron over getting the call. So the wide receiver brings in the signal, the quarterback Cutbirth. Now Cron sets up at the bottom of your screen. He's going over the middle, looking for some space and running with the football and trying to get first down yardage after the handoff is number 33, I believe, Blaze Storr. That is Storr, younger brother of Wyatt Storr, who was an outstanding quarterback for the Hawks a few years ago.
And that'll be enough to move the chains and get the first down. So once again, starting that drive off, you don't see a lot of explosive plays for the Huskies. Very much just a pick offense where they're just trying to chunk away and slowly get that yardage.
And that's exactly what the Hawks are doing against the Huskies. They're chipping away. Now pass over the middle. We've been waiting for that middle to open up, and it's worth 9, maybe 10 yards on the crossing pattern to Robinson. And there's no doubt that Thad Robinson has been Mr. Cuthbert's first choice multiple times so far here tonight. And he gets enough for the full 10 yards. They'll put it at the Emmett 45-yard line. Consecutive plays netting first downs for the Hawks, and they're on the move. Pass on the way by Cutforth again. Snared and stepping out of bounds on the far side is Robinson. And this is a space that the Huskies have given up yardage all season long, is the little curl patterns. They're playing deeper against the long strike, and they've been willing to give up that space, so they've given up quite a bit of yardage, but normally not the score. But right now, moving to the far side and trying to get some ground yardage is number 3. That is Andrew Schneider, as he kind of came on the late delay back to the left. He'll get about 6 yards. We'll put the ball at the 27-yard line of the Huskies, where it'll be 2nd down and 4.
Skyview finally getting momentum, finally opening up that defense a little bit, and starting to see some variation in their play calling.
2 receivers split to the bottom of your screen. That's Riker Oswald along with Mulligan Knudsen, and they're going to give the right up the middle to That is Oswald.
Yep.
Oswald able to come up with the reception for the first down to the 20-yard line. So just by about a yard is able to get it, and the sticks move again. I mean, that's the fourth.
That is the fourth completed pass in a row.
And all 3 of those for first downs. Delayed handoff to the running back out of the backfield, Schneider, and Schneider's going to pick up maybe a yard. He'll be nailed down at about the 19-yard line. In there defensively for the Huskies, among others, number 38, Brady Dillon. Dillon, a senior, kind of an undersized nose guard, but he has been very, very active for the Huskies throughout the 2022 campaign.
Small, but very quick off that line, and sometimes that's all that matters. You don't need to push the guy if you can get around him.
Cutforth again with Schneider in the backfield with him. Cutforth's looking for the end zone. He's got a man there. Does he get the completion? Waiting for the officials. It is a completion for a touchdown. A 21-yard hookup. And that was Cron. So the first time I think he's actually been targeted.
Yeah. And what a doozy it was. Great coverage by Scheibe, but not enough. And Cron, the bigger senior, was able to pull that in.
Well, Cron's just a sophomore, but he's 6'2", 210. So that was 2 sophomores. But Cron has certainly about 50 pounds and a couple of inches on Scheibe. And here comes the extra point attempt. Skyview doing a little shifting on the line, waiting for the kick. Kick is on its way, nearly blocked, but it looks like it's up, and it is good. And that will make it a 6-point ball game, as the Hawks have shown they're still in this football game, no doubt about it.
And I have a weird, suspicious feeling that first quarter was not indicative of what the rest of this game is going to be. It just has this weird feeling that we had a oddly defensive first quarter, and the rest of this game is going to turn into a shootout. The way that Skyview was moving the ball there and that last drive was just too methodical and too clean.
Well, and that was the difference. Their first drive was not clean with a fumble. In fact, they've had a couple of them.
Their first 2 drives were ended in fumbles.
And the Huskies scored on one of those, so each team now just has one offensive score. This ball game is being brought to you on IdahoSports.com. GameStream production. The Treasure Valley Game Night is brought to you by Mountain West Bank. Also brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And here in the local broadcast, Gem Supply Co-op, Mountain West Building Supply, and Hannigan's Auto Sales. And a little bit later tonight, in fact, when this game is over, we're going to be naming the Idaho Transportation Department Player of the Game. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Right now, no particular candidate jumping out on top of everything, but a lot of them storing a little life. Shane Daniels falling on that squib kick. So it appears right now Skyview is not planning to kick deep to the Huskies.
Which you can't blame them after the game that the Huskies had last week in Baker with Lumos. I mean, almost 200 yards of return yardage. You don't want to put that ball anywhere near their hands. The Emmett special teams have just been so electric all season long, you can't risk that.
Perry wanting to get the offense going, and he, I believe, just drew the defense off sides. And the man who's been causing all kinds of trouble, Daniel Hernandez, he's been there for about 3 tackles for loss already, and maybe that's how he gets a little anticipated maybe a wee bit too much, and he actually looked like made maybe contact there, and a quick cheap 5 for the Huskies to get him out to their 45.
Hernandez also under 6 foot. It's what we talked about, the nose guard being small but quick. If you're off that line first, a fumbled snap in the backfield picked up by Brennan. And
no, I'll take.
25.
That's Fullerton.
Yeah,
it is Fullerton. Fullerton's going to get a couple of yards out of that, so a broken play that could have been a disaster. And in fact, I was beginning to think that either he or Perry were just going to fall on the ball, but Fullerton got his hands under the pigskin, was able to bring it up and pick up a couple of yards. So 2nd and 4 coming up for should be third down. 4, should it not? But board, everything's showing 2nd. Perry's looking downfield. He's going deep, and he overthrows.
Remember, there was an
that's
offside
right.
It was
that's right.
First play.
The first place was an offside.
That was 2nd down. This brings up that incompletion brings up 3rd down now.
And 2nd down and 4. You can see why he then took the opportunity to try to hit Stevie Howe downfield. Howe has had some spectacular downfield catches, and he has one that he says is still his, but officially it was Mr. Brennan's, because that touchdown at the end of the first half against Lake City last week bounced off of Howe, who was laying flat on his back in the end zone, and Brennan picked it up. And Brennan's going to pick up the first down here as he falls forward. He was hit clear back at about the 45-yard line, but he kind of had that lean going, and he scoots it out to the 50, where it should be 1st and 10, I believe, for the Huskies at midfield.
It's kind of been the story of Brennan all season. He gets that first hit and still ends up getting 5 more yards after that first contact, which is exactly what colleges look for when they look for running backs.
And that's because he's coming with great speed. He is a very quick young athlete, pretty outstanding trackster as well. But he's going to be, it'll be Fullerton in the backfield, and now Fullerton's on the other side of that spectrum. He very patient, picks his holes, finds his spot. He can explode on you, as he did when he got away to get the touchdown pass earlier. He gets about 3 yards with what looked like to be no gain at the line of scrimmage. Howe at the bottom of your screen, looks like Brennan is into the slot at the bottom, and Howe will be split out to the top of your screen. Fullerton in the backfield along with the quarterback Perry. Trying to see who's the up back right now. Firing deep downfield for Howe, and Howe's going to he will not be able to pull it in. He had it there. Great defensive effort there, because that ball was there, but Nathan Gravier actually got a hand across to knock it away. Otherwise, there was a 40-yard completion. I think Gravier would have brought him down before he got into the end zone, but he did a great job of clearing those hands and making sure that Howe could not hold on to the football. So 3rd down and 6 or 7 coming up for the Huskies, just inside Skyview territory. I always want to call the Hawks the Skyhawks. I'm not sure why that is.
Skyview, Hawks, you're just putting the two together.
It just seems reasonable. Maybe we should petition the schools over there and change that nickname. We got a lot of Hawks and Warhawks and Timber Hawks and Wolves. And
the delay in that was the ball was placed at the wrong spot, so it was actually too far forward. They moved it back. Now the handoff going to
Fullerton, and again, what patience. Did you just, he picks up 10 yards in what looks absolutely like breakfast cereal. It was just just
very much an
routine,
effortless
moving
runner.
along.
Yep.
A very, very smooth, and then he was able to get 10 yards in the first down. 1st and 10 for the Huskies at the 36-yard line. Looking for their second offensive score of the night, trying to get back to a 2-score lead. Handoff to Brennan. Brennan, again, hit about the line of scrimmage, but he pinballs off, falls forward for about 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5 at the 31-yard line. 6 minutes and 14 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. It's Emmett 13 and Skyview 7. It's been a very entertaining first half, and again, not quite what we were expecting at first, but we're starting to see some of those elements come into the game.
I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to see a shot downfield here from the Huskies. On 2nd and 5, you can take that risk, and at the 30-yard range, it's actually easier to score from outside of red zone territory, but the handoff is going to go to Fullerton instead. And Rye Fullerton's going to stumble forward for about a 7-yard gain. Once again, gets hit 3 yards downfield and stumbles forward for another 4.
Just keeps that forward motion. He's inside the 25. They're going to place it at the 23-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 Emmett. This would be their longest actual drive of the ball game because they had a one-play strike, and the other score came on a fumble return for a touchdown.
This is definitely the offense trying to get the consistency down and trying to get that long, cohesive drive. Perry's actually going to keep the ball and is going to get about 3 on the play.
Well, they're going to mark him all the way down to about the 18-yard line, so it'll work out to a 5-yard gain. And he just trailing, just did not give it to Fullerton. Fullerton became the decoy. He's got a little bit of a
limp on him.
Yeah.
He threw a great block about 10 yards down the field on the safety. Gets up a little bit limpy. I think it's just a Charlie horse, though, because he jumped right back up.
Yeah, a little hitch in his giddy up, but sometimes that's trying to maybe play a little poker with the defense, too. Let's see what happens here on 2nd down and 5. They're going to fire over the middle, and boy, they were looking for a streaking Brennan coming across, but Mason Cron just reaches up and swats that one down. If you've got Cron in the middle of that defense, as he is at their linebacker, that's a tough target to try to get around. It's kind of like when the Huskies are able to use Christian Sanchez, who stands about 6'4" and about 225, 230. Number 80 for the Huskies. He's not in there right now, but he can be a big factor both on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. Perry with the ball. The handoff goes straight ahead and picking up a couple of yards. We're going to have 4th and about 5 coming up. No, it'll be 4th and about 4.
That was Brennan on the carry.
I think Fullerton, did he come to the sideline?
Fullerton did come out. He is still on the sideline, so it looks like Brennan will be the back for now.
Yeah, Brennan was actually coming out on the 4th down play. Now he's going back in. So we're going to have Brennan in there and moving in. Who's on? Is that Loomis on the? No, that's 11, Brian Walker at the tight end, at the fullback position. Perry's going to roll to his right, being chased, fires to the end zone, fires it down, and it's taken by Stevie Howe for the touchdown. And I mean taken, because that ball looked like it was going to be in the hands of Riker Oswald, and Howe comes back and takes it away for the 23-yard score.
Howe playing defender on offense really comes up and sneaks that ball away from the defender. On the coverage, we had number 7, so that was
Riker Oswald, and he had a great position. I thought he was going to get the interception.
No, that was fantastic. That's what we call coming back to the football. Definitely a heads-up play, because if he had waited for that ball, which a lot of high school receivers make that mistake, that would have been an interception in the end zone. But the kick is up and is good. So
Welling with his second kick, he's 2 for 3 tonight, and that pushes the Husky lead back to a 2-possession lead at 20-7 with 3:51 to go. That was a 5-minute drive by Emmett to score. And now we're getting into what we call that crucial territory. We talk about it, the 4 minutes before the half, the 4 minutes after. This is crucial defensively for the Huskies because they will be kicking off, not receiving tonight. Last week they had the opportunity. They knew they were going to get the ball back to start the second half. So they took a little gamble, and it paid off big with 2 scores in that last minute of the first half and then score on their first possession of the second to blow that one open. Skyview could be in that same sort of position here. If they could get a score before halftime, they still get then the possession to start the second half and can get right back into this ball game just like that.
And that's really what Skyview's going for here. They need to put together a nice, cohesive, but not too quick of a drive so that they can score right as the half ends and get the ball back to start the half to try to close down this 13-point lead.
And this is also the point where sometimes if you get too aggressive in that regard, you go 3 and out with quick incomplete passes, and you give Emmett all kinds of time to possibly score before the break. Up back is the ball is taken by, that is Mulligan Knutson. And he's going to return it about 6-7 yards, and great field position for the Hawks, and we'll see if it's going to be even better. We have a flag on the play.
Super late flag called on number 48 for the Huskies.
Well, and he was clear across the other side of the field, and so I'm not exactly sure. And we don't even have a 48 on our roster, but whomever it is, he's getting quite a instructional lecture right now from Coach Zane Hines, and they are going to call it. Oh, they're calling it against Skyview. Oh, they're going to call it both ways. So probably, and this was away from where the ball was. It was clear on the far side of this, even though the flag was here. So
it's going to be called offsetting personal fouls for fighting. A little scuffle. It happens sometimes, not a big deal, but they're going to be offsetting, so the ball's going to be right where the return ended.
So right where Knutson left it at the 43-yard line, and that's where Skyview will start. Cut forth, back to pass. He's being chased out of the pocket. He's looking downfield, fires it downfield. It is slow. It scoots down. We do have a flag thrown down in front of us a long ways away from where the receiver was.
This is where, in that weird territory where you get defensive holding. It looks like the Hawks had a receiver in the area, but he was kind of clumped up in some of the Husky defense. I think it's going to be
that's exactly what the call was.
Defensive holding is going to be the call. So that's going to be a 10-yard penalty and a first down.
Yeah, if you hold them long enough before the pass goes into the air, you get a shorter penalty than if you do it when it's in the air.
Right. One of those weird defensive plays where it's actually better to hold the offensive player and not let him get behind you.
Better to hold than interfere, as they say. Well, by 5 yards. Doesn't really matter. It puts the Hawks in Husky territory. Still 3:36 to go. Pass outside to Robinson. Woo! He was able to hold on to it, but he's drilled by Isaac Brennan at the 40-yard line. It'll be a 7-yard pickup, but that's one of those where you think, well, that ball could come out too, because he had plenty of time. He had definite possession, but he did a great job of holding on. With
Robinson was one of the players to have a fumble so far in this first quarter of this game. So,
Cutforth firing to the near side again, finds a receiver in the flat. He's going to pick up first down yardage to the 34-yard line, and it's Robinson again. He likes that Robinson. Little curl patterns, right, left, doesn't matter. 6-8 yards at a time, marching them down the field. Huskies trying to come up with a defensive stop here to protect the 13-point lead and not be in that position where Skyview can reign supreme over the halftime. Cutforth, going to hand it off on a little delay. Nice running play by Schneider. He'll get to the 25-yard line. Making the stop on him is 5 Carson Callan Conklin makes the stop, but it's still a 9-yard pickup. And the last 2 possessions, the Hawks have been ripping off 6, 8, 9 yards just about every play.
They've been having great success on these little 10-yard outs or 10-yard cuts, and that's opening up the sides where if they run off the end of the tackle, they're getting a lot of space. So something that Emmett's got to do is spread themselves out a little bit and not let things go over the middle.
Well, they went over the middle this time with Robinson coming across. He came from the wide receiver back in. We've got flags in the backfield, and we got flags now back in the defensive backfield. Be interesting to see what happens. Where the first one is where you normally think we have offensive holding. The second one being downfield.
It looks like we're going to have a late hit on the defense. Player was the running or the receiver was down already, and then flying in was number 11.
That'd be Brian Walker.
Brian Walker.
And if that's the call, the Huskies are the loser on the 2 penalties.
Well, it looks like they're going to call them offsetting penalties. So.
Wow, that's a win for the Huskies because we're talking about
a personal foul versus a hold.
Offensive hold, yeah. Yeah, you'd think there'd be a 5-yard offset for that, but they're not. And they're going to call them offsetting and leave it second down. So the Hawks have it with second and short yardage, maybe 1.5 yards right inside the 25-yard line. And now an official coming from the near side.
Once again, the ball placed in the wrong spot.
they placed it where the stick of the first down marker was rather than where the down marker was. It is back at the 25. Like I said, he doesn't have to get much inside the 24 for a first down.
It's about 1.5 yards for the first down, yeah.
And now officials talking with quarterback. Actually, the conversation was with the running back, Schneider. Cutforth counting the signals. Handoff goes to Schneider. He gets the draw to the right side. He's going to take it around the corner, and he's going to get first down yardage all the way down to the 12, and I think they're going to add on to that as there was just a quick grab of the helmet as Schneider went by, and enough of a contact that it drew the flag. And the Huskies now with penalties hurting themselves and helping to fuel this drive by Skyview.
Yeah, Skyview doesn't seem to need the help, but they're taking it, and it's really starting to cost the Huskies.
But this is strange because we're walking the opposite direction. The players were.
Yeah, it was a face mask on the defense. So players not knowing what in the world's going on.
Because both teams were walking back as if they were nullifying that play. It was not nullified. It was addended. And we're all the way down to the 6-yard line where Skyview with 1:53 to go is threatening to pull back within one score.
But now we have a very interesting circumstance kind of unfolding with 1:45 left in the half. You wonder if almost you left too much time on the clock for the Huskies.
Well, you got to score with it for it to matter, and they just did. Sitting down, just simply putting his lawn chair is Thad Robinson, and Robinson gets the 7-yard strike. His first touchdown reception of the ball game, the second thrown by Cutforth tonight. And with 1:40 to go, Skyview back within 7, and they can make it 6. As in to do the kicking duties for the Hawks, number 14, Tyler Kinsman. He's a 6'3", 180-pound junior.
Who is just the kicker.
So well, at least in the roster that he's listed solely as the kicker. And that's exactly why. He's got plenty of leg. And no doubt about it, it's through. And the Husky lead has been trimmed to 6, but 1:40 to go. And this is one where you know that the other team's going to get the ball. I think it'll depend on where the kick goes at this juncture. If the Huskies are able to start with good field position, how aggressive they'll be.
Well, that's kind of the question here. As we've seen so far, Skyview has been hesitant to kick it farther than 10 to 15 yards, trying to keep it out of Loomis and
Brennan's
hands. Although we don't have Brennan. We have Stevie Howe in the backfield to return.
And no Loomis.
So.
Okay. In fact, I haven't seen Joe out there much at linebacker either. He's sitting on the bench down here, so I'm not sure if maybe he's out for the game with an injury. Okay. Well, Kyra was down. Our cameraman also doing a lot of the physical training here and checked him out, and so Loomis is sitting on the bench near side, and that would be a huge hit for the Huskies' hopes if that's something that costs him very many games this season. He still has his helmet on. He won't take it off.
He has his helmet on, but his shoes are off. So, that's kind of Joe for you, wanting to play.
Here comes the kick. This time he does put a nice kick into the end zone, and Brendan's going to let it fly. And he saw that he was at the chalk mark. Might as well let it go all the way in and take it out at the 25. So Isaac Brennan had a running room ahead, but that's a long ways to go 25 just to get where you can get without trying.
Right, and then not only that, but you have the thought process there is the clock doesn't start till he touches the ball. So the faster that it gets called down, the more time you save your offense.
So no time expired off of the clock. It's minute 40, exactly what it was when Skyview scored. And the Huskies start at their own 20-yard line. So they got a long ways to go, and here's where they got to make sure they don't make a mistake, which we saw last week in the Huskies' favor that helped them turn the ball game, and that's exactly what Skyview would be looking for to see if they can come up with something. Handoff goes to Fullerton. He's going to scoop and skitter and move his way out across the 25-yard line. I believe he got up to about the 26.
Little bit of chipping going on between these two teams.
On the line, there
definitely
is
some tension going on.
There's a little conversation going on down there between number 72, Chris Lupkus, and
Sam Buck.
And Sam Buck having a little conversation on the line. Handoff's going to come to Fullerton, and he's going to be hit in the backfield and fumbles the football. And let's see who has it.
I believe it's going to be Skyview. It is going to be Skyview football. So with a minute left.
That's number 12 that's able to pile onto that football that was stripped away. Coming up with that takeaway is Wyatt Metcalf. And Skyview, just like we watched last week when the momentum was changing, right now the Huskies took it last week, but right now Skyview taking it away from the Huskies. They have a chance to tie or take, well, actually have a chance to tie or take the lead here before the intermission, and they're going to be getting the kickoff to start the second half.
Yeah, we have nightmare scenario coming out for the Huskies. They've got to put a defensive stop here and keep that 6-point lead going into the half, because as you just said, Skyview gets the ball at the start of the second half. You cannot risk going into this half with a tied and or down one.
That's exactly what the quarterback's going to do. Cuthbert's going to keep it, and he goes to the sideline. He'll get first down yardage all the way down to the 10, though we have a flag back at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be holding on Andrew Schneider. He was
the running back trying to help out.
Yeah, he was holding on to Stevie Howe, not letting him get that corner, and just holds just a little bit too much. So that's going to wipe out that 7 to 8 yard gain, and it's going to be a 5-yard loss on the play to bring up 2nd and 15.
Ball at the 30-yard line instead of down around the 10 where it would have been. It was a nice play by Cuthbert. The first time we've really seen him run out of the pocket, and he had some space, but maybe explained Cron coming back in, and now he's splitting out to the right side. Use that big body down in the end zone area. As the end zone gets closer, you have less space to be running those curl patterns that they've been doing. But didn't affect them on the last drive. They just did their curl in the middle of the end zone. Back to pass. Again, Cron reaches up and snags it, and he's going to drag 2 defenders for 5 yards all the way down to the 15. I think enough for the first down. Great pass, and Cron, with great size, just reaches up and grabs that pass from Cuthbert.
Poor Stevie Howe, the senior, he's very much smaller than Cron, so he kind of goes for a ride there. Clock is still running, so with 40 seconds left, Skyview trying to get in the end zone, but we'll see if they can.
Handoff goes to Schneider. He breaks it back inside. He's going to get close to the 10. In fact, his second effort will get him to the 10-yard line. Skyview's got timeouts to use, and I would imagine we're going to see one of them there. That was about a 4 or 5 yard pickup where it'll be 2nd and
that will
5.
Be a Skyview timeout.
Yeah, 2nd and 5 at the 10-yard line for for Skyview with 27 seconds remaining here before the intermission, and Skyview threatening. And I would say that if they happen to get bogged down, there's a leg on a kicker that wouldn't have a problem from this distance, as he's shown all kinds of lift on that kick on the extra points so far tonight. You know, if you're sitting there on your screen and you're watching this and you want to maybe save this game as one of the memories for your son or your grandson or your family member, you can do it real easy. Now, you won't get an immediate drop, but if you click on there and purchase for $9.95 the digital copy of this ball game, it'll be uploaded and available for you to download sometime tomorrow, and you can just add that to the repertoire on the digital scrapbook.
A great stocking stuffer for your child if you got a kid out here playing. such a great keepsake. I know I got to keep every single one of my games my senior year, and it's just something that's fun to look back on.
Cutforth is going to be, well, I'm not sure if we even have to explain that one to you. That was Daniel Walker. Looked like he was going to take Cutforth down. Cutforth decided to duck a little bit. Walker goes over the top, comes down with just enough on the backside to make contact and bring Cutforth down for the loss, and that'll bring another timeout up for the Skyview. And I don't know if that's their last or if they have one more to go. And it looks like
Joe Loomis is getting carted off the field.
So he's whatever with his foot. It looks like this is not going to be maybe even a simple sprain, and hopefully not for the senior that his season would happen to end this early in the campaign. Came to Emmett last year from California and became a real contributor to start with, and he like. Brennan is kind of a multiple-use tool. He can be a fullback, he can be a linebacker, and that's sad to see. And this early in the season, or at any point in the season for that matter. But right now for Skyview, it's 3rd down and 13 as they're trying to get on the board again before halftime. Cutforth rolls to the near side, fires, and it's going to be incomplete. Trying to sell it to the official is the wide receiver.
That will be Mason Cron.
Oh, that was Cron, and
putting up his best acting performance he can. Unfortunately, could not convince the
it wasn't far because he was down on his knees right there about the 3-yard line and would have been enough for a first down. But instead, it'll be 4th down and 13 here with 13 seconds to go.
And if you're Skyview, I don't see a reason not to just take another shot at the end zone. 4th down, you're not that far off. You don't really care if you turn over the ball with 13 seconds left in the half. So expect them to be putting the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they're looking at a field goal. They're looking at the 25-yard line. This would be a 35-yard field goal attempt coming up to try to narrow this one down.
Tyler Kingsman trying to get the kick.
Kinsman puts his foot in it. Has lots of foot, not a problem there, and it is good. What a weapon in Kinsman from 35 yards out.
Something you don't see very often in high school football, a kicker that can make a kick from really college distance. So a great asset to have on this Skyview team. And though they don't come away with the 6 that they wanted, putting 3 points up on the board makes it a 3-point game going into half with 8 seconds left.
And possession coming to them to start the second half. So a little bit of a victory there for the Huskies in not giving up a 3rd straight drive down the field for Skyview. After Emmett had taken a 13-0 lead, Skyview has driven on both of their all 3 of their last possessions to get into scoring territory, convert with 2 touchdowns, and now add the field goal so that what was a 13-0 Emmett lead and then a 20-7 lead is a mere 20-17 margin with 8 seconds remaining here in the first half. And I would anticipate, unless Mr. Brennan shows some magic from the deep or Mr. Howe does from the up back position, we're going to see a knee coming up for the Huskies unless they run long enough to run out the clock. Kinsman, lots of foot, as we said.
And he's going to kick it all the way back into the back of the end zone, so it's going to be another touchback, which, once again, we discussed, doesn't run any seconds off the clock.
No, but on the other side of it, you're looking at why did they use the short kick early in the game to give Emmett the better field position and avoid the kick return if they've got that leg?
Well, as we've noted, Loomis has now been carted off the field, whereas for the first 2 kicks, he was in the back to return. So maybe it's one of those strategies. After Lumos getting almost 200 yards in returns last week, you want to keep it out of his hands. Now that he's not in the game, it's less to worry about.
Well, instead of 2 back deep, they were 1 back deep, and the Huskies are going to take a knee here. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Fullerton way back at the 10-yard line. Perry's going to skitter back a couple of yards and take a knee. And that will be the end of the first half of this football game. Not really what we expected in many ways, but we expected that it wasn't going to be a giveaway. And the Skyview Hawks, still looking for their first win of the season, are certainly in position as they're just 3 points down and will be getting the ball when we return in the second half for the kickoff. So at halftime it is Emmett 20 and Skyview 17. We'll see you in a few minutes.
High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else. No matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
We are at Husky Field in Emmett with the Emmett High School marching band out on the field, entertaining us here at halftime. And it's been an entertaining first half with lots of questions, few of them answered, and a second half that could hold all kinds of directions here. At halftime, it's Emmett 20 and the Skyview Hawks 17. Skyview looking for its first win of the 2022 season in their second Southern Idaho Conference game. They lost a shootout with Valley View last week to open up. For the Emmett Huskies, they're trying to defend the two-time SIC championship, the one they've won the last couple of years. They've actually tied Bishop Kelly with a 6-1 record in conference play both years, but the Huskies had won that early game against Bishop Kelly. This year, the first game of the conference season is not Bishop Kelly for Emmett, it is the Skyview Hawks, and right now this game is just that important for Emmett if they're wanting to defend that title, because Bishop Kelly's looking loaded for bear and the Huskies won't see them till the 6th of October, but they've got to take care of business here tonight and come back with this win, as Coach Hargett talked to us before the season began. At that time, the season looked like it was going to be split. The Huskies had a 9-game schedule, but game number 5 was canceled. The Century double booked themselves, and Huskies were without a game. That has changed this week. Next Friday, the Emmett Huskies are busing, should we say, to Lodi, California. That's a suburb north of Stockton, south of Sacramento, about a 10-hour, 557-mile drive. And they are going to leave here at 5 o'clock on the morning on next Friday and play at 8 o'clock Pacific time Friday night in Lodi, and then return on Saturday. They were looking for any game anywhere. They've been willing. They've made arrangements for facilities in Las Vegas and Reno to meet someone halfway, but Lodi's the only one that came up with. Lodi currently undefeated on the season, but I'm not sure what division they're on. They're the second high school in Lodi, California. So that's what the Huskies have ahead of them next week, rather than a rest week to get ready for the second half of the season. But as we talked at the preseason, we thought we were splitting 4 games and 4 games. Hargett said he needed to go 3-1 in each half of the season because he figured you had to be 6-2 if you wanted to be a home team in the first round of the playoffs. This game is critical for the Huskies to finish that first half 3-1.
Yeah, and this is even more critical in the sense that it's really kind of a stepping point for your team. It's this first game of the conference play for the Huskies, and you really want to start that strong because this is really where you start getting the comparatives that start building toward that playoffs picture. You don't want to start losing a game here and then all of a sudden now you get toward the end of the season and this game might be the tiebreaker that loses you the home berth. So these conference games just mean that much more when going toward the playoffs, so it's really important to start and play well here tonight and get this win. Now, something we talked about, this is kind of Skyview's trying to turn around their system. They started out 0-4, and so this is a point where they really need to get their season going in a better direction. They've put up a ton of points, but they've also led a lot of points, especially in the fourth quarter, as we talked about, losing that 20-point lead last week to Valley View.
Yeah,
so it's one of those things. Going into the second half, obviously Skyview is going to receive the opening kickoff of the second half, and only being down 3 points, they've set themselves up beautifully. Now the question is, can they keep it together come that fourth quarter?
And that's a big factor. The 4A playoffs this year are, I don't know how to say this, are not real difficult to make the playoffs. To make a home base might be. There are, I believe, 22 teams in the 4A ranks across the state, and 16 of them make the playoffs. Yeah. And out of those 22, one of those is Caldwell, which is not eligible because they're not playing throughout the Southern Idaho Conference schedule. So a couple of wins in the Southern Idaho Conference could very likely in the Max Prep rankings get you into the playoffs. But you're going to have to be 5-1. Well, we only actually have 5 conference games now instead of 6 that we've had. Well, we had 7 last year. It's 6-1. And without Caldwell in it, we only have 5 this year because Nampa and Middleton moved to the 5A. Skyview joined us, but Caldwell was out. So we have 5 league games. You're going to have to be 3-2 to host, and maybe need to be 4-1.
I think it's looking more and more like 4-1. The 4A across the board, it looks like a very strong conference this year.
Well, and particularly in the High Country Conference, Blackfoot, which defeated Emmett here to start the season, is right now ranked number 1 in the state in the coaches poll. They're ranked number 3 in the state in the media poll. Media is still staying with Skyline, the 2-time defending champion, even though Skyline has a loss and has struggled in a couple of games. And they've moved Bishop Kelly up into the 2nd spot. But the coaches poll has Bishop Kelly and Blackfoot up at the top. And Bishop Kelly has looked lights out so far. They've given up 6 points in 3 games this year. They put up 40 on everybody. They played 5A. We're interested to see tomorrow afternoon, Bishop Kelly made the trip to Coeur d'Alene. They're going to play the Lake City team that Emmett played last week tomorrow afternoon. So that'll be the first comparative of teams to see if that means anything, because sometimes it means absolutely nothing.
And something we've talked about before, when it comes to high school football, you never know the team that you're going to get on that field that night. It can be one of those things where you just don't get the consistency you get at the pro and college level, whereas in high school, a player could have had a bad day, they come out and they just don't put up the performance you're expecting. So, though it will be the first comparison that we get between the two teams, I don't think we're really going to have any idea what that game is going to look like until we get to that game ending this season.
Yeah, it'll be the first weekend of first Friday of October at Bishop Kelly, but the Huskies can't look that far away. They've got a home game here they haven't taken care of yet, and in fact they're being threatened heavily. They'll make the trip for a non-conference game all the way to California next week, and then they come home to play Columbia here the following week in a conference game that'll also be homecoming, so another distraction. And the one thing that's starting to weigh on me right now is 2 of these key defensive starters for the Huskies this year, Quentin Smith and Joe Loomis, are out of play, at least for this game. Smith has been out the last couple of weeks. He's hoping to be back in a couple of weeks. Loomis went out during this football game. We saw him carted off just before halftime, and apparently it's an ankle but we don't know if it's a bone break or a tear or, I mean, whatever can happen. Sometimes a bad sprain looks worse than a tear or a break. And they were talking about how they taped it up and then he ripped the tape off because it was swelling so fast. So he's probably in an ice bucket right now in the locker room. And there's no doubt Loomis will not be back. So that takes away your number one linebacker and your kick return specialist and that third option at running back.
Yeah, and he really has been that third option, sometimes creeping up into the second option on offense. Loomis has just been an overall amazing weapon that Emmett's been able to have and put him all over the field. So taking him out of the play, now all of a sudden you have a much more limited offensive options. So you're going to really be looking for Stevie Howe to be picking up more on the offense, trying to become more of that Swiss Army knife as we talked about. And Rye Fullerton just taking the ball and really leaning on those two seniors to try to carry the ball a little bit more.
These teams both have some key players who are seniors, but they both are relying heavily on younger kids, particularly on the line or the defensive side. We talked about earlier Skyview with 3 sophomores that start. Emmett starts 2 sophomores on the line. And that's interesting that they're that young. Last night, the Emmett freshman team took on what is loosely called the Skyview freshman team. Is made up of freshmen and sophomores. Skyview does not have a junior varsity team, so they have the 2 teams. Emmett has a JV and a varsity and the freshman. The Emmett freshmen won last night 20-0 over Skyview in a really strange kind of game. Last night, a lot of the same similarities here where you couldn't really see anyone taking full control of the game, and yet you never felt it was going to go the other direction. This one, I think, is totally up for grabs here at halftime.
I think really, even though the Huskies do have a 3-point lead going into this half, you can really almost call it a 0-0 start over for this game. You can kind of wash out that first half. The real question that we're going to be coming into is the longevity of the players and how well they're able to keep that energy up. As we've said before, Skyview struggled in the fourth quarter, whereas Emmett seems to just get better as the game has gone on, and that really has to do with the conditioning of the team. This Emmett Huskies team has been very well conditioned. They've really came on strong, and that's something that we've seen in the last 2 to 3 games is their offensive line starting to get more and more push come the second half. So that's something to keep in mind and keep a watch on. But ultimately, the game is in Skyview's hands. It's really going to determine when they get this kickoffs to start this half what the pace of this second half is going to look like.
Well, and will that pace include turnovers, because they were huge in the first half? The Huskies have actually been, offense has actually been outscored 17-13. But they're off. But they were able to get a fumble that Brennan was able to turn into a touchdown. And then on the other half, though, Skyview took advantage of a fumble in the closing minutes of the first half to get into position for the field goal. So turnovers, 2 turnovers in the ball game that have netted points, 7 for the Huskies and 3 for the Hawks. If there's turnovers in the second half, I mean, let's face it, this is a close enough game that could turn the tide either direction.
Really could, and that's going to be the question of the half: is are they going to be able to hold on to that ball? Are they going to be able to keep that possession and keep it moving well? We've seen both of these teams do fairly well on offense moving the ball. Actually, Skyview's had more success with that than the Huskies have, but both have been decent. I think it's really going to be a question of what defense breaks first.
Skyview probably with twice as many actual yards offensively in the ball game, especially if you were to subtract the one 45-yard touchdown pass to Fullerton. As far as the Huskies were concerned, a one-play drive. But this ball game is being brought to you on IdahoSports.com. It's a GameStream production on Treasure Valley Game Night, is presented by Mountain West Bank. It's also brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valleywide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And it's being brought to you locally here tonight by Gem Supply Co-op, Hannigan Auto Sales, and Mountain West Building Supply here in Emmett. Just about ready to go. Dale Gray along with Chandler Gray as the teams are taking to the field. The Huskies will be doing the kicking duties, as we said. It was strange last week at Baker when the officials went out onto the field. they tossed the coin, and Emmett, I can't even remember who won the coin toss, but the natural thing to do usually is when you win the coin toss is to defer. But what happens on that coin toss is that means you get the choice. You win it. And so the other team will get the choice in the second half. So if you do defer, then you're kicking off. And
well, no, you defer the decision.
You defer the decision, right.
What really happened last week is Emmett won the toss, and they chose to defer. Well, then Baker decided they said they wanted to play defense, which means they wanted the ball. They wanted to kick off first. The official got confused, didn't know what was going on, kept telling them, no, you want the ball, because if you take defense in the beginning, then on the flip side,
Emmett has the choice for the second half, and so they could have got the kickoff in both halves. And it took quite a while. But, yeah.
But no such confusion on this game as we see the Huskies are out to kick off.
Back deep. I'm going to have to grab a flashlight here. I think probably see my spotting chart in a minute.
That's going to be number 7 and number 6.
Of course. So it'll be Oswald along with Gravier back there, I think. No, that is Gravier, but it'll be taken upfield, and a nice return, and then a flag coming in. Grabbing that ball was Malukan Knutson. He dives forward for 6 or 7. I didn't see anything that looked like it would be a face mask.
I think it's going to be a holding call on the return team. Is what we're Yep, it's going to be a holding call on Skyview. So that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and that'll start the play at the 30 of Skyview.
Yeah, that'll back them up a little bit, and it's going to be more than 5 yards.
Oh.
That'll be a 10-yard mark off, back to the 25-yard line. So Skyview, it looked like they're going to have the ball near the 40. The infraction was at the 35, so it goes back to the 25, and that's where Skyview and quarterback Max Cutforth will get started with the offense here and see if they can grab their first lead of the night on this possession. Handoff inside, trying to get around, and wrapped up quickly is Andrew Schneider. Schneider got some good yardage on that last drive, but Brady Dillon got through there and grabbed around the leg, and Schneider tried to get away but could not. It'll be a loss of a couple yards.
Great penetration by Dillon. He got fired right on that board. Brady, we've talked about this, not the biggest nose guard, but he gets off the ball so quick and just gets wonderful penetration, even though he's being double-teamed on most plays.
Cutforth firing out into the flat. He really was being chased out of the pocket. He was waiting for Schneider out of the backfield to get free, and finally fires toward him, but it comes up incomplete. So 3rd down and long coming up here for the Hawks. A big, big play for both of these teams right now. The Huskies need a stop to get possession back earlier in the second half. And for Skyview to take the momentum they took into the halftime, they really need to extend this possession. Coming out to the near side, that's big Mason Cron. He's at the bottom of your screen. Back to pass Cutforth. He's looking for Cron over the middle. He doesn't see him. Now he's going to fire deep down into the flat, and we're going to have a late flag coming from the near side. The flag is going to go against Isaac Brennan, I believe. I'm not sure the ball was catchable, and I didn't see a push, but they must have got their feet hooked up.
We got two different flags on the field at the same time. I don't know if it's for the same penalty, though. I feel like the one farther downfield was a push-off on the offense and then a defensive pass interference. But we're going to get the call here, and it looks like it will be.
Well, it's a 15-yard march off that gives them the first down, as it was 3rd down and 13. So it's 15 yards, and the Hawks have it at their own 38-yard line. So the penalty goes against Emmett, and they've hurt themselves 2 or 3 times tonight with personal fouls or a penalty.
So 1st down at the 38 for the Hawks. It's going to be a handoff. Right up the middle, bouncing around is
Schneider gets a few yards, and then bringing him down, looks like Carson Alder, that's 5. That's Callan Conklin, who's playing a lot more from the free safety, but he's having to squeeze up a little bit and fill in that spot where Loomis is missing. So pick up 4 yards on the quick handoff. Snyder, the lone back, along with the quarterback Cutforth in the backfield. Cutforth looking downfield. Pockets closing in, fires it across the middle, and a nice defensive play. He was trying to get it to number 33, Blaze Storer, and draped all over him.
Was Conklin
again. So good defensive stop, and another big third down play coming up for both of these teams. 3rd and about 7, make it 6.5. 42-yard line is the line of scrimmage in Skyview territory, and the Hawks have the ball.
Skyview looking to close down that 3-point lead. Really just need to get into field goal range to really make it a ball game.
Cutforth fires it out into the flat, and the ball bounces up off the hands of his intended receiver. That was Thad Robinson, and the defender was right there to make sure he didn't get a chance to go after the carom.
Ryder Scheibe on the coverage there was right on him as the ball hit, which with the deflection made it so he wasn't able to go back and get the ball.
But it looks like Skyview's going for it on 4th down and 7 at their own 43-yard line. They're going to roll for it here early. Now let's see. The quarterback, Cutmer, steps back a little bit deeper in the pocket. Is he also the punter?
He has been their punter. And, the punt's going to get deflected off the back of a Skyview player. That's a live ball. Emmett will fall on it at the 35.
So not only did they get the block, they're able to come up with it. And for a moment there, it looked like they were going to get it on the bounce and be able to take it in. In fact, I'm not sure of who that was. That was actually Conklin, I think, that thought he was going to have a race to the end zone because he got a handle on it but could not get a grip on it as he was starting down the sideline. So turnovers we talked about, a big one here, and the Huskies need to get some offense going here. After scoring early in the game, they kind of settled down late in the second quarter, and they have it 1st and 10 at the Skyview 35-yard line.
Huskies given that gift, starting with excellent field position. The handoff will go to Rye Fullerton, who will stumble forward for about 5 yards.
And that Huskies in an I formation there. We haven't seen that much tonight. They set it up and go to the deep back, and Fullerton picks up 4, make it the 31 where they placed it. He'll have to get it just inside the 25, I think. And again, that I formation with Fullerton deep. Looking to get a blocking back. No, he gives it to his first man, and that's Brian Walker. He'll pick up a couple of yards inside the 30, but a 3rd and long coming up for Emmett. And Huskies right now, I think, trying to appeal to their line to let's start demanding and taking control of this game at the line of scrimmage, and so far mixed results.
Well, it's something we talked about. This is something that the Huskies really like to do starting in the second half. They really like to pull out what we call the smash mouth football, where they're just going to line up and just push. And
well, they tried it there, and Fullerton is stopped by Davenport. Adam Davenport keeps him well short of the first down. It'll be 4th down and a long 2. They're just outside the 27, it looks like.
At this point, there's no reason to punt, so you're definitely going for it on 4th down here. Don't see a kicking team come out, so that's not likely. But you've got the power offensive unit in. You've got 3 backs in the backfield, 2 lined up right next to Perry. Perry trying to get the defensive jump, didn't get it.
Trying to get a little break in the cadence here, see if he can get a jump from the line of scrimmage. Not getting it, and they're going to call the timeout.
Yep.
So the Huskies trying to simply manipulate themselves to a first down. Now they're going to have to come up with a different plan as they come over to Coach Hargett on the near sideline and discuss what they're going to do. 8 minutes and 48 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Emmett holding on to a precarious 20-17 lead, but they have the football, and they are in Hawk territory, but they have not picked up a first down on this possession. And quite frankly, they've not picked up many first downs tonight.
They haven't had a lot of success on offense. Most of their points coming from big plays, a defensive fumble that was returned for a touchdown, and then that one big 45-yard pass in the first half. There really hasn't been much offense from the Huskies. And in that moment, you see them trying to force the offsides. That's what we call trying to give your coach an option when you're in a weird spot in the field and don't have a field goal position, but also don't have a first down. So,
well, very different setup now, though we do have some blockers inside, but Perry's back into the slot, fires it out into the slot. It's got first down yardage. He gets it to Stevie Howe, and he'll take it down to the 13-yard line. We have not seen that tonight, and that has been a big factor for the Huskies all season, has been able to get some control play on that little flare out to Howe. And Howe picks up a huge first down, and the Huskies have it at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, especially with Lumos out, you almost have to lean on your seniors like that, and Howe is a big part of that. He's always been that outside threat and that outside option for the Huskies, so leaning on him in a fourth down situation is a great call.
Harry hands off to Fullerton, I believe.
Yep, and that's going to be stumbled for about 5.
A little below his per carry average, but when you're down in the red zone, things always get a little bit tighter.
It's something we've talked about. It's almost easier to score in high school outside of the red zone than it is in the red zone because you just have so many players stuffed into such a small area in the red zone.
About we'll give it a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6. He's got to get it down inside the 3-yard line, I believe, for the first down. And right now, the Huskies, other than the one play action out to Howe, have been powering football. They're going to pitch it to Fullerton. He's going wide to the right. He's going to break it all the way into the end zone. Fullerton will take it in from 9 yards out. And he just kind of turned on a second burner when the defense came up to meet him about the 6. So Ry Fullerton with his second touchdown of the night, first a 45-yard pass completion that he took in. This time a 9-yard run by Fullerton, and the Huskies have stretched it back to a double-digit lead, or at least have the opportunity to stretch it to a double-digit lead. Welling in to do the extra point to try to make this a 10-point margin. Placement is down, kick is on his way, looks good, it is. So the Huskies take advantage of the block punt to set them up in deep territory, and they've moved the lead back to 10 at 27-17 as we're now 7 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Gem Supply and Co-op in Emmett, the helpful place for all your building and hardware needs. They offer friendly, knowledgeable personal service, quality products, and a convenient shopping experience with local experts who know you best. Visit them at 402 North Washington Avenue in Emmett. Open 7 days a week they are. Gem Supply and Co-op. Wanting to wish the Emmett boys the best of luck in the game tonight. Rooting for the Huskies are all the folks down at Gem Supply. And they certainly are. In fact, probably most all of them are here in the stands tonight. And happy and maybe breathing a little bit easier. But again, we're dealing with taking advantage as the Huskies have scored 14 points off of 2 turnovers.
And as you just said, a 10-point lead is not comfortable yet. You really cannot be happy with that, especially against a team that has such a good kicker that can make that fourth quarter kick. Beautiful kickoff.
It's taken all the way back at the 20-yard line, and a nice return coming upfield, I believe, is Seven Oswald.
It is.
Riker Oswald, a 5'9", 165-pound sophomore. Looks like he's got some speed.
Well, he's limping a little bit leaving the field, so hopefully that's nothing too bad. But
we've seen that. Of course, we had Fullerton leave the field with a hitch in his giddy-up in the first half and didn't seem to show it on that last scoring touchdown drive. 7:47 remaining in the third quarter. Emmett 27, Skyview 17. Skyview well above their season average as far as their defensive performance so far here this evening, but below the season average in scoring. So let's see if they can kind of catch a momentum here in the second half. Cutforth's going to keep it, go straight ahead. He'll get a couple of yards, and then he's swarmed under. He was looking downfield, and we've seen more of him moving here in the second half. In fact, I didn't see him leave the pocket in the first half, I don't think. So obviously thinking that maybe that all those curl patterns have opened up a little bit of space, but so far Skyview not able to really get a run game going up the middle.
And it's something we talked about at the beginning of the game. You're really looking just to open up options. So the more different players you can have carrying the ball or catching the ball, the more options you have.
Cutforth looked right, now rolls to his left. He's going deep. He's got it out there to a man who cannot catch up with it. He had about 2 steps, and I believe that is Oswald.
That's Scheibe on the coverage, but Oswald was the intended receiver on that play.
No, it was 33. Knutson, I believe. Or no, 33 is not Knutson. 23 is Knutson.
33 is Blaze
Store. That was out there, and he had a couple of feet on Scheibe, and that pass was beautifully thrown, but just a little too long, and it'll go incomplete. And 3rd and 8 coming up for the Hawks at their own 35-yard line.
7 minutes left to go in this third quarter.
Big play for both teams right here. Cutforth looking downfield. The pocket's closing in. He now fires out into the flat and falling out of bounds, but incomplete. Making the completion again was Storr, but he couldn't keep his toes in bounds. He was being defended also out there by Scheibe again. And so a second consecutive long pass that looked good, but just not quite connecting. Huge 4th down right now.
Well, and it was the exact same play back to back. They got the extra space on the first one, so thought they could go right back to it. The ball not thrown as perfectly as the first one, and just wasn't able to keep himself in bounds. Scheibe doing very well in the coverage that time. This time the pooch punt coming out from the quarterback. Obviously there's no one back to receive.
And the Huskies actually get a nice return out of the grass. They get about a 4-yard roll back upfield, and Emmett will take possession at their own 30-yard line. But they did not get the block of the punt that they had on the last possession. So the first 2 possessions here in the second half for Skyview resulted in 1 first down and a couple of punts, 1 successful and 1 aborted. But Emmett right now, with 6:48 to go, we started to see last possession that they're already wanting to try to assert their line and their power play inside. Let's say if they stay with that.
Well, with no wideouts, I'd have to say it's probably what's going to happen again. Handoff going to Rye Fullerton, who's got some space. He bounces outside and is end up going to push 3 Skyview players for an extra 5 yards.
He gets about a 13-yard pickup on that play. It looked like it was going to be good for about 4 or 5 to start with. And again, he has great strength in his legs, but he is so patient that he just takes that momentum and he's not trying to overkill.
And there was no need for it. It just great fundamental football, keeping your feet moving. And we've talked about that so many times this year with Fullerton. He's one of those players that's just solid all around. He's got good speed. He's got great strength. But the most important is what you said, that patience and that vision of the field. Once again, they're going to go right back to Fullerton, who's going to surge ahead for another 5 yards.
He goes straight ahead. One thing about Rye, he's got a low center of gravity. He has huge calves and thighs. He has spent a lot of time in the weight room building that lower body, and he would be very difficult to knock down from any angle just because of where that balance is. And he's certainly taken advantage of it. 6 yards on the gain there. He's at the 49, and the Huskies trying to get back into Skyview territory and trying to extend a 10-point lead.
Brennan now in the backfield. Fullerton came out on that last play, so Brennan in the backfield looked for him to be the handoff.
With 2 blockers in front, they are going power football all the way. Brennan almost busted it outside. He's going to get a yard. If he'd been able to get away from the ankle tackle that was made by Aiden Martinez, Brennan can break things open pretty quickly, but did not. So 3rd and 4 coming up for the Huskies. Maybe a short 4. Got to get down to about the 47 and a half yard line of Skyview to get the first down. And right now, they're just shy of midfield. 3rd down, 4 minutes, 55 seconds to go. Huskies also working the clock here with this power running game. Trying to protect and extend that lead. Handoff goes to Brennan, and he's got first down yardage, and he does not have the patience that Fullerton has.
No, very much a off to the races back. He gets that ball and just starts running. And it's It's actually fantastic because you get this yin and yang going on between Brennan and Fullerton, where you get two completely different styles of running back, and it just throws the defense off.
Yeah, it's hard to time what's coming at you. And Brendan now is out, and Fullerton is back in. So we'll see if that goes. And right now it looks like the Huskies they're just going to let their passing game go to sleep right now.
And still lining up in what I'm calling the power paw offense for the Huskies. Fullerton once again making that spin move in the backfield, only going to fall forward for about 2 yards, but we do have a flag on the backside, and it looks like a holding call on the Huskies.
Yeah, I would think that would be the case. It was behind Fullerton. If it had been right at his feet, it might have been a call on the defense, but it is going to be a hold against the Huskies. And so now all of a sudden penalties helping kind of detour their drive, and they're going to be faced with first down and long, 1st and 20. They've got to get it inside the 35. They're back at their own 45 now. And those are the kind of mistakes that coaches just hate, because it can take away that opportunity to take control of a football game, and you leave this question in doubt. I mean, you have a 10-point lead, but that's not much with still 3 minutes and 48 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Perry hands it off to Fullerton. That is Brennan who's back in, and he's going to get back almost all of the penalty yardage. So a 9-yard pickup for Isaac Brennan, and the Huskies will have it second down and
we have an injured player
11
on the field.
And down on the field it's a Hawk.
That looks like number 33, Blaze Storer, down. He's in some. Well,
yeah,
no, that's not Blaze.
No, it's.
I can't tell.
Well, I think it is. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm almost thinking it's cramp. It's and that's what it looks like with the trainer out there putting up the leg and doing a little bit of flex. It's one of those cramps, or one of those things that just, well, darn it, they hurt. I get them in the middle of the night in the bottom of my feet, and then try to walk them off, and I trip over everything else in the house while I'm trying to walk them out. They're just not fun.
Well, it's one of those things. You just got to get some mustard or some pickle juice in them, get those electrolytes going, and just break up those amino acids that cause those cramps. So I expect whoever this player is, to probably come back on the field if it is just a cramp.
I'm sorry, I'm not sucking on pickle juice at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
3:27 remaining here in the third quarter, as we still have time down on the field for the injury. And we'll follow up on it, but I maybe it's more than a cramp, but just the way they first acted with it, that would be my indication they're trying to get, and they're getting him up, and they're going to walk him off.
Yeah, he is going to walk off on his own power. That was a cramp. So.
Hannigan Auto Sales, been locally owned and operated for nearly 100 years here in Gem County. And you don't stick around that long unless you treat every customer who walks onto the lot just like family. Hannigan Auto Sales and Service, full-service dealer that can take care of everything before, during, and after the sale. In-house financing, full-service auto detailing, and a repair shop run by the best vehicle experts around. You won't find a better place to buy or service your next used car, truck, or SUV than Hannigan Auto Sales on Washington Avenue in Emmett. Perry counting signals. Huskies faced with a second down and 12 just into Skyview territory. They get it out to Brennan, and he was looking for a block. He got a half of one, but didn't get the second. Brian Walker moved one man out of the way, but Brennan picks up another 7. He'll give him 9 yards. It'll be third down and 3 coming up in Skyview territory at the 37-yard line.
And update on that injured player. It was Blaze Storer down on the ground, and looks like he's ready to come back into the game. He's talking to coach right now, trying to get back in.
Big third down play here for the Huskies. You have to kind of think they may be in 4-down territory. Their handoff isn't going to matter because the first down yardage is going to be picked up and then some. And I believe that one was Fullerton this time, just going by the way he was taking his patient time. No, it was Brennan doing a Fullerton imitation.
And that's a key first down. That keeps this drive going. And with only 2 minutes left in the third quarter, you really want to run at that clock with only having a 10-point lead. This is one of those points, though, where you're starting to see what that turning point for the line. The offensive line is starting to get that 3, 4, 5-yard push that we've talked about so many times on this Emmett football team. So really starting to take over the game, and this is really just we're going to run it straight at you, stop us.
And Perry's going to do it himself this time. He was looking at the defenders and knew that they had their eyes on those 2 running backs. He just kept it and picks up good yardage. He's going to pick up 11 yards all the way down to the 21-yard line. It'll be another first down for the Huskies, and quite frankly, this is their most impressive drive of the night.
And it's the simplest. They're not running any options. They've got no receivers out on the field right now. They're just running, as I said, power paw football where we're going to run it straight at you, stop us.
Well, Coach Hargett likes the spread offense normally, but I'm not seeing much spread out of this. This just looks like downtown old run-down-the-throat football, and that's what they're doing right now with the lead, and they give it to Fullerton, and he's going to break yardage, but we're going to have to add to his yardage again later because I believe we'll have a flag that'll bring that ball back. Fullerton got it all inside the 10, so another 13, 14-yard run by Fullerton. And a hold against the Huskies. So that's their second hold on this play. Now, the only positive to this as far as the running backs is concerned is that line is helping them pad their stats because they're getting to go back and do that 10 over again.
Well, and that's an interesting call there because something that is different between college and high school football, and we have a timeout for Skyview, so I have time to explain this. Something that's different between high school and college is that when you take a defensive lineman to the ground, you can't lay on top of them. You have to get off. And that's where the holding call was actually called because the defensive player was lying on the ground underneath 2 Huskies, unable to get back up, and you can't do that in high school football.
You can't take the rest. Now, in professional, of course, you probably sell an ad, run some kind of name, image, and likeness commercial, and maybe have a snack and then get off the guy.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't make a face at him and get called for taunting, it works.
It works, but in high school, you can't do that. You have to roll off of him. So even though the offensive line getting the pancake block and pushing that entire defensive line, as we saw, almost 10 yards down the field, you had the one defender lying on the ground with the offensive lineman on top of him saying, hey, I can't get up, and draws the foul.
And he got it, and it worked, and let's see if the Huskies can counter that. It is back to still a first down, however, and they've got the ball at the 31, and not only does it give them extra distance, but an opportunity to chew up more clock. They've had this possession for over 6 minutes now, and still at the 31-yard line. Minute 7 to go in the third quarter.
No receivers to be seen.
Nope.
Handoff goes again to Brennan, who's going to stumble forward. He's still on his feet, still pushing, and with the second effort, ends up with a 12-yard gain. Looked like he had been stopped at the line of scrimmage, but keeps his feet moving, keeps the pressure going, and stumbles forward for another.
Yeah, they're not going to give him all that yardage.
10 yards, but
yeah, it'll be. But it's still an 8-yard pickup on 1st and 20. It's now 2nd and 12, and.
Clock keeps running. We're down to 35 seconds left in the quarter.
This is probably the last play of the quarter because we're not anticipating an incomplete pass because we haven't seen anything that looks like a pass in this
Still
possession.
No receivers on the field, though.
No, certainly not split out onto the field. Perry hands it off to Fullerton. Fullerton going to be hit at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get close to the 20, but a 3rd down and long going to be coming up here for the
and that was Brennan on the carry.
It was Brendan. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where Fullerton is.
Fullerton right now is standing right by Coach Hargett on the sideline.
Yeah, most of the time they're not out there together when they're in this kind of formation, but that is going to be the end of the quarter as the Huskies ran out the last 6.5 minutes of the third quarter. No points, but that's protecting that 10-point lead, and if they can go forward, they'd like to push that up when we get ready for fourth quarter action. It's Emmett 27, Skyview 17. We've got fourth quarter and 12 minutes to play.
Why spend 15 minutes quoting your insurance with one company? Go to BigInsurance.com and let leading insurance companies shop for your insurance. You can even chat with one of our agents standing by, only at BigInsurance.com.
"12 minutes of football. remaining in regulation here at Husky Field. And the Huskies with a 27-17 lead have the football in Skyview territory, but it's 3rd down and 10 at about the 21-yard line.
And overall, a pretty uncharacteristic game for both of these teams. Emmett running what we've been calling the power paw offense with no receivers, and you're seeing that continue now. And very low-scoring game across the board. Normally, both of these teams putting up a lot more points.
Well, back to pass is Perry. He's firing for the end zone, and he hits his man. It's Stevie Howe. So the old rope-a-dope, run forever, and a 21-yard strike in the 4th quarter. The Huskies have scored on the first play of the 2nd, and now the first play of the 4th quarter.
And it's like they hurt us, Dell, because we fell for the same thing that Skyview fell for. We had been lulled into this false security of there's no receivers, they're not going to throw it. Stevie Howe off the tight end position sneaks out there and comes away with the touchdown.
He went on the flat, and a beautiful pass from Perry. I thought might be there, and the kick by Welling looks like it's good. It is, and the Huskies have extended their lead now to a 17-point margin at 34-17. And again, kind of just taking what they can get when they can get it. And here in the second half, we talked about at halftime when Skyview was able to close it down to a 3-point margin at 20-17 and get the possession to start the second half. They really had opportunities, and they had 2 opportunities, 2 possessions, and could go nowhere with it. And the Huskies then have taken now their last 3 possessions, the last 2 possessions in for scores.
And we talked about this at the half, Huskies being that second half team, and Skyview has struggled in the 4th quarter. So now Skyview looking to turn that on its head and try to put some points up on the board. They got to come back. If they don't score on this drive, I think it's safe to say that Emmett has this game in control.
I'm going to take a look at the film tomorrow and try to see who has been shadowing Mr. Cron all night. He's picked up a couple of completions, but Mason Cron has really been taken out of the offense, and most of the passing game for Cutforth has been limited to Thad Robinson for the vast majority of the evening, and not enough. So the kick is going to come up short. It'll be taken by Knutson, I believe. He's bringing it back to the near side. He's got a wall forming. He's trying to get free on the sideline, cuts back he's in Husky territory. He'll be forced out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Finally catching up with him and pushing him out is number 19 for the Huskies. That is Sammy Howe, sophomore younger brother of Stevie Howe, and finally gets a stop, but a nice return by Mullican Knutson as he brought it up the sideline and looked like for a moment he might find a seam as he cut back inside the block.
Well, and it was a great heads-up return from him as well, because he was running down the far side of the field, saw it wasn't going anywhere, and made the decision to make the trek all the way across the field, running east and west, and it works out for him.
Runs about 80 yards for a 40-yard return, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Hawks, and they're going to pass it outside quickly to Oswald, and the quick pass is caught, but it's only going to gain a couple of yards. They'll place it just outside the 40, so a 2-yard pickup, and Bowen Bundy in there for the stop for the Huskies. 11:25 remaining here in the football game. Emmett with a 34-17 lead on Skyview. Cutforth back to pass, fires it out on the flat, gets it out into the hands of Aiden Martinez, and the completion is there, but the defense is as well. It'll go for about a yard, maybe 2-yard gain to the 39. That'll bring up 3rd down and long for the Hawks. We'll call it 3rd and 7. They've got to get it all the way down to about the 32, it looks like.
Husky defense
for a first down.
Really come alive in this second half, really just shutting everything down, letting those quick little outs happen, but covering the ball quickly. So good defense.
Cutforth looks downfield, fires kind of a sidearm pass. He gets the completion. I think they're going to get the first down as the receiver really wrestled his way. I believe that was Cron, was it not? Just by the physical side.
That's number 2.
Oh, it's number 2. Okay, that would be Robinson, the primary receiver so far tonight, and he gets just enough for the first down at the 32-yard line.
Robinson kind of took Kalen Conklin for a little bit of a ride there. Kalen's a little bit on the smaller side for a back.
Well, the pass was well executed. The play was well executed because the crossing pattern was right at the sticks. So all you had to do was get it and then turn north. And we got a flag goes way, way up in the air, about an 8-yard gain on the run. But
I think that's going to be wiped away with a false start.
Yeah, well, you don't usually see it go quite that high, but the official was pretty.
He was very adamant.
Yeah, very much so. he was very expressive, and that'll be a 5-yard march off. That flag was about 15 yards into the air. But it'll back up at 5, so it'll be first down, remain first down, but 1st and 15 now for the Hawks. And the clock is as much of a foe right now as the 37 yards of turf between them and the end zone. When you're down 17 in that fourth quarter, it really creates all kinds of new pressures. Nice little draw inside, but the Huskies cover it. It'll be about a 2-yard pickup as the late delay to Schneider will pick up a couple of yards to the 35, but it'll be second down now and about 13. 9:29 remaining. Emmett trying to move to 3-1 on the season. Skyview trying to avoid an 0-4 start in their return to the 0-5 start. Excuse me, that is their 5th game, and an 0-2 start in Southern Idaho Conference play.
Skyview, this first year back in the 4A category, really trying to make a name for themselves. A beautiful pass by Cutthroat is only going to net them about 12 yards.
And I'm not sure if it's enough. I don't think it's enough for the first down. He catches his man in the flat. Of course, that was Mason Cron. And Isaac Brennan there to make the stop. And he's going to be about a yard short, so it'll be third down?
Third down and about a yard and a half, we'll call it.
Huskies jumping around on defense, switching positions on the line. They only 3 linemen down, which they run most of the time, kind of a spread defense. Cutforth hands it off. His man breaks the tackle, gets past him. That is number 1, Aiden Martinez, or is that 3?
That's number 3.
It is 3. 3 and 1's a very narrow 3, and that again then would be Schneider. Andrew Schneider has most of their rushing yardage tonight. He gets plenty for a first down all the way down to the 16, 15-yard line. They're going to put it right on the stripe. So 1st and 10 into the red zone. Move the Hawks, trying to narrow down that 17-point deficit. And a handoff, a pass goes out and coming across, picking up maybe a yard or 2.
That's
Is that
0.
That's Cron.
So
Mason Cron. And we expected to see a whole lot more of Cron, either from the tight end or in the slot position. He's such a big target. He got 1 yard out of that. So second down, and the clock now inside 8 minutes to play here in the ball game. Cutforth. He does a great job of pocket presence and moving out of the pocket, and he simply threw that one away. And I'm afraid we're going to have a defensive hold on this side, away from where the pass, completely across the field, maybe against.
It's going to be a defensive hold on number 21.
That'd be
Brennan. Is Brennan. And an interesting call because it looks like the receiver fell down and Brennan laid on top of him.
So, or fell on or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. It's a first. That's a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, so that should bring the
ball down inside the 10-yard line, but it's still a second.
No, it's not.
No,
defensive holding is going to be a 10-yard penalty, and
no, it's half the distance to the goal because we're inside the 20. So,
you're right. Yeah.
So that's where the marker is. It's not an automatic first down, though. I don't believe. And so it'll be second down and 4 at about the 9-yard line.
And I think that's the discussion the officials are having right now, just trying to get those rules straight.
Well, now they're moving it even further downfield. because the line of scrimmage was the 15, so it should be about the 7.5, which looks like that's where we are now. And it's second down at about 2. Cutforth fires it out to the sideline, and he thought he had his man. Cron could not hold on to it. The ball skitters away, incomplete. And I think Cron was thinking, all I got to do is turn, and I've got 3 steps and a score.
I was going to say, he had no one between him and the end zone. So if he gets hold of that ball, that's a touchdown. It's one of those things with the younger players. They get the jitters. They want to score, and they don't think about catching the ball.
It's probably number one among the professional receivers too. When they get an open opportunity, they often just see it. Outside pass, beautiful pass. It's going to be a first down, but not a touchdown.
Stevie Howell on the coverage out there did a fantastic job of just jumping on that receiver.
And that, I think, was Thad Robinson who got the completion. And he's knocked out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. Actually, they're going to say he was brought down inbounds. The clock is still running with 7:42 to go. Skyview trying to score. And I believe that will be Schneider taking it in from 2 yards out, or 1 yard out.
And that's what Skyview needed. They needed to bring this back within a 2-score game in order to really have a chance here. With 7:37 left in the game, they really needed to bring this to a 10-point score. So you do have the kicking team come out right now. As we've seen so far tonight, number 14, Tyler Kinsman.
He has a leg.
He has a leg, so an extra point is really just a chip shot for him.
Yeah, his kickoffs have gone deep into the end zone, and they've been high, and he has a field goal to his credit in the first quarter, and this one goes into the pasture at the end of the field. Another extra point.
Making it that 10-point game. Dell, it brings up an interesting question. At this point, do you go for the offensive onside kick?
7:37 to play.
They've had a really hard time stopping this Husky offense.
Well, the last possession for the Huskies was over 8 minutes in time off the clock. We have 7:37 to go in the ball game. So if you give them the possession, I mean, just concede it,
you might not get the ball back.
Right, and if you kick it short and you recover it, you got a short field, and all of a sudden it's a very interesting final 7:37. But with the leg they've got on that kicker, I mean, I think I would probably go ahead and let him kick it out of the end zone and let the Huskies have to start at their own 20.
I think with the Husky offense being what it has been this second half, especially with running so much, I think I might go for the onside kick. I guess we're going to have our questions answered right here.
Kinsman getting ready to kick it off. Big physical kicker. This is the second week we've seen that. The Lake City had a big one last week.
It will be a semi-long kick. It's going to be fielded at the 13 and is going to be wrapped up immediately. Sorry, that was the 18 that he
and he gets to the 20.
Yep.
And so about where he would have been if they'd kicked it out of bounds or kicked it through the end zone. So it will be deep. And, of course, sometimes when you get those end over ends, you're hoping for a fumble and maybe able to get something out of it, and which you don't get that opportunity if you kick it through the end zone. So
this is really crunch time for the Skyview defense. You've got to put up a stop and get this ball back. If you allow the Huskies to do what they did on the last drive and just run out the clock, this game's over.
No, get a 3 and out at this point. You still got a lot of time on the clock, and you still got a football game here to go with.
Once again, we're seeing no receivers lined up, but as we saw, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a run play. It is a handoff to Brennan. Oh, sorry, that is Fullerton.
Fullerton's back in now, and he'll get about an 8-yard pickup out to the 29-yard line.
And that's been the story of the entire second half. Skyview just cannot stop this offensive line. And you see, every single one of the Skyview defensive players has been stacked in that box for the second half, so it's not for lack of trying.
No, that's it's a street brawl down there right there on the line, and not one that most people appreciate. What those linemen are doing down there is it wears on you on both sides of this line. The Huskies came out with lots of energy there, and they've got the first down yardage for Fullerton as he gets across the 30, across the 35, out to the 36-yard line.
And you've got offensive linemen almost to the 40.
And Fullerton getting to the point now where it looks like he's probably going to break the century mark again. I think he's had one game where he did not get 100 yards rushing, but he's adding up a few here. And he does it without like the 40-yarders that some people speak. I mean, he'll bust off a 20, 25-yarder, but his power comes in that 7 to 10-yard run every time that he gets the ball. And
Brennan in the backfield this time. Handoff does go to Brennan, who's going to run outside that tackle, and he's going to stumble forward for almost 9-yard gain.
Yeah, he'll get it out all the way to the 45-yard line. And just as we saw against Lake City last week and we saw in the Fruitland game the week before that, the Huskies right now just simply running the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, and protecting a 10-point lead. They don't care if they extend it or not.
No, at this point, it's just about running out the clock.
5:41 to go. They've had nearly 2 minutes with this possession.
Handoff to Brennan again.
And he's not going to get the first down. He's going to be short. He only had 2nd and 2, and he got maybe 1. So 3rd down coming up here. So another big opportunity for Skyview if they can get another stop. Though, well, I don't know. Let's say it's 4th down and 1 at midfield.
Don't jinx it.
We're just trying to think ahead here. I mean, strategically, you've got the lead.
You punt the ball.
Yeah. Or you get blocked. But I would think the confidence that Hargett has in his running game is that, we can give him 3 shots, and they've given 2 now, and the second effort again for Fullerton gets the first down. I thought he was stopped at the 46-yard line.
I think the defense thought he was stopped at the 46-yard line. It's going to be a timeout for Skyview, but...
And now they have to start using those just to save clock.
Yeah, they have to stop the clock because it's just going to keep running. And once again, we talked about this so far this entire second half. Emmett's really had a one-dimensional game, but you don't need a second dimension when you can just keep running.
Well, and you say that, and yet they've got 2 touchdown passes to the end zone that came out of kind of lulling you to sleep with the run game.
And that's really the name of the game. If you can get a running game that just chips away, that you can't stop, all of a sudden now as a defense you have to put everything into trying to stop that, and that's what opens up the passes on the outside. So,
well, that's no surprise with Coach Hargett's run option passing game that he likes to play. People think, well, it's a spread passing game. Well, he has no problem passing the ball, but he will be the first one to tell you the 2 fundamentals of football, particularly at high school, is stop the run and run on the offensive side. And if you can win the running game, which the Huskies certainly have in this ball game, you've got a pretty good chance of winning the ball game. And right now, they're just wanting to get another first down and just keep moving and keep that clock rolling.
Stevie Howe to the bottom of your screen, but the handoff is going to go back to Brennan, who's going to stumble forward for about 5 yards.
I'm going to double check to see if that was Brennan or if we were using one of the fullbacks.
Oh, that's number 11.
11, Brian Walker, the fullback, actually carried the ball and picked up about 4 yards. So giving a little breather maybe to Brennan and Fullerton, though Fullerton's back in there. We'll have to see who they bring out. We've seen Daniel Walker, who plays in the tight end position, carry the ball on occasion too. Right now, it looks like, I believe that's Fullerton, that's the lone back behind Perry. Now, Perry's up under center rather than in the block. Hands it off to, no, he's going to keep it. I thought he gave it to Fullerton, and Perry's going to get first down yardage inside the 40. Boy, that was a quick move by the quarterback because he was around that end in no time for a good 7-yard pickup and another Husky first down. 4 minutes exactly as Perry is taken out of bounds on the far sideline. Methodical offensive execution here on the last 3 possessions for the Huskies, where they really struggled with that drive and execution in the first half.
something to keep in mind is that at some point we are going to have to name a IdahoSports.com player of the game. And unfortunately, because so many different players have carried the ball, I don't know who we're going to give it to. Rye Fullerton again on the carry, who's going to stumble forward for another 7 yards. Skyview just can't stop this running game.
I wish I had some hard statistics where Fullerton and Brennan are. Right now, Fullerton has 1 touchdown receiving, 1 touchdown rushing, and I would say he's over 100 yards rushing again, so he's a candidate for that position.
Stevie Howe has gotten 2 touchdowns, receptions this game.
He's grabbed a couple and had a couple of the big defensive plays. And, of course, Dakota Perry was our player, IdahoSports.com player of the game last week in the win over Lake City. When he threw for a school record 6 touchdowns in the ball game. I had on my stats, I had 5, and then I looked a little closer, and I didn't realize that one of them, it was a pass. I had it marked down that way and just didn't see it in our recovery. And that was a school record for Emmett to have 6 touchdowns in a single game. He threw for over 220 yards. And
this is the player that sat behind Young for 3 years.
Yeah, watched him for a couple of years at least, yeah. And so it'll be interesting to, we've got a tough decision here because it's not like one of them just absolutely blew things up, but
it's really just been a well-coached game, honestly.
Yeah. And well played here in the second half for the Huskies, particularly. First half, both teams had some shakes, but handoff again right up the middle. That is not Fullerton.
No, that's number 11 again.
That was Walker again for the fullback position. So a couple more runs for the Huskies. It's 3rd down and 4 coming up. The clock now moving toward 3 minutes. They don't have to snap this until it's down under 3 minutes to go. I'm sure they would love to grab one more first down here.
Skyview's got one more timeout that they can burn, but obviously you don't want to burn it if they're not going to get the ball back. So,
yeah, this is probably the play that they would use it on if they stop them and force them into a 4th down.
Yeah.
But the Huskies will certainly go for it on 4th down at this point in the field, I would think as well. But 2:40 and the clock continuing to run. Perry watching that clock, taking his time under center. He's going to pitch it back outside to Fullerton. Fullerton's got first down yardage and then some. He's inside the 25 to about the 27. We'll call that a pickup of about 13 yards for Fullerton off of the swing, all the way down to the 23-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Huskies, and with 2:30 to go.
I
don't think we're quite at the need stage, but they're setting up for it.
Yeah.
They're not pushing to try to add to the score.
No, this is not about scoring. This is about running out the clock. And at this point, Huskies have complete control of the game. Not a flashy win by any means, 34-24, but a solid game across the board. Huskies have played very great fundamental football tonight, and it's really been based off this run package. Once again, the handoff to Fullerton. Fullerton, after the first hit, bounces outside and ends up getting an 8-yard gain on the carry.
Another big carry for Fullerton. And for the Huskies, this is the second drive that has lasted
over 6 minutes.
Over 6 minutes. We're almost 8 with the first one, and they took this possession after a Skyview score at the 7:37 mark. So we've gone over 6 already, and they're going to run this one down. Skyview probably, I'm not even sure they're going to use that last timeout. We'll have to see. It's going to be a run to the outside by Fullerton, and he's going to take all kinds of time. And I think he's got first down yardage again, down to about the 12.
Yep, that's going to be another first down inside
and now we're looking at 2 knees. Maybe only 1.
Well, Skyview does have one more timeout, so they can stop the clock again, but you could potentially just knee it 3 times.
Well, that's it. At this point, there's possibly no need to really even use the timeout.
And if I'm Hargett, I don't know if I even take the knee. I think I just run out the clock. I think I continue to run. You've had success on the run.
Oh, apparently the clock did get stopped.
Yeah, he ran out of bounds.
Oh, okay. So with 1:23, we'll see then. We're going to have a couple of plays here at least. Perry again under center. Hands it off to Fullerton. He bounces outside. Stiff arms his way down to the 5. He's trying to push his way, and he's not going to get – does he get in? No, he's at the 1-yard line.
And now the question becomes,
Well,
do you let your player get the touchdown? He works so dang hard for it.
Yeah, and at this point, do you take the snap and try to score, or do you take the knee and stop it at the 1 yard line? And
it's a fumble snap, and Skyview is going to recover it.
I don't think so. I think Emmett got on it. I think the ball players were down there having too many things to think about. I honestly think they were going to take a knee there at the 1. Perry calling the signals. And then it was like he was turned a little sideways when the snap happened.
He wasn't under center when the snap happened, and the ball pops out. Emmett does recover it. They fall on it, and now
we're under the 40 seconds.
We're under the 40-second mark. I think this is going to be
Fullerton's
a victory.
Moved all the way back to the 15-yard line. He's playing center field. Perry takes a couple of steps, waits, now kneels down, and that will run out the clock. We've still got 22 seconds on it, but the Huskies will run out and be happy with a 34-24 victory over the Skyview Hawks in the return of a series that was interrupted for 4 years when Skyview moved into the 5A ranks, but they're back in the 4A. And that rushing game of the Huskies, like I said, 2 possessions, they took up over 15 minutes of the second half. And that's a lot of time in a 24-minute half, and they only had to score on one of them. Yeah, and that was a factor. So the Huskies are lining up and going across. So the final score here is the Emmett Huskies 34, the Skyview Hawks 24. We'll be back to recap this game and name our IdahoSports.com Idaho Transportation Department's player of the game.
High school sports teams are known for their unity. No matter what's happening on the field, they stick together. Players, coaches, students, parents. One big family. That's why Mountain West Bank is so proud to sponsor Idaho high school sports. Today, tomorrow, together.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Because you already give them something money can't buy. We'll help with everything else, no matter what life holds. Mountain West Bank. Today, tomorrow, together.
We're back at Husky Field, where the Emmett Huskies have just won their 3rd consecutive football game to move to 3-1 on the year, and they won their first Southern Idaho Conference encounter of 2022 with a 34-24 win over the Skyview Hawks. Emmett never trailed in this football game, but it seemed to be in doubt throughout, and it looked like Skyview was building some momentum at halftime, but the Huskies went back to a power running game in the second half, and between Rye Fullerton and Isaac Brennan, they just kept pounding the ball for 8-10 yards at a time, and another touchdown, and every once in a while Dakota Perry would fire a touchdown pass to one of his receivers. I think they only threw about 3 passes in the second half, and he completed all of those. But quite a game. The Huskies winning it 34-24 over the Hawks of Skyview High School. Now Emmett still has a long way to go for their hopes of this season. They want to get back to the playoffs again. Of course, they made it to the state finals 2 years ago, and then last year were ousted in the first round here at home. But they're adamant that they want to have a home first round, and they need to have at least 3 more wins to be able to have that opportunity in conference play, and that's going to be a tough second half of the season. Just to kind of give you a taste, they're going to take a break from SIC play after 1 game, and next week, in what looked like was going to be a bye week, they're actually going to travel to Lodi, California. They're going to play out the Tigers of Tokay High School in Lodi at 8 o'clock Pacific time next Friday night. We are in the process of trying to get clearance with the California Federation, Interscholastic Federation, and with Tokay High School to get broadcast privileges for that game. If everything works out, we will be there with a kickoff at 9 o'clock Mountain Time next Friday night. If it doesn't work out, my understanding is the school actually does a YouTube stream that will make that still possible to see that game. But I know there's some folks that are already talking about road trip and heading into, you go down for a Friday night, and this time of the year, there's no more beautiful time of the year but Napa Valley and San Francisco and that whole Northern California region if it's not on fire. And it could be a fun trip. So we'll just let you know that we may or may not be on the air with that ball game next week. We were not anticipating a game at all, and then it all kind of came together in the last 24 hours. And the Huskies really cut themselves out quite a chore next week.
Oh, they have.
10-hour bus ride and play that day.
Goodness. Yeah, that's not something you want to run into, but as a player, I think they're all just excited to play the game.
Yep.
Something we have to talk about is obviously the IdahoSports.com Player of the Evening, and there's a couple contenders. I think first and foremost, we have to talk about the Emmett offensive line just as a whole. They have done what they've done all season long, and it seems like no matter what happens, as we get going into the second part of the series and the second part of the games, they really take over the game and really just become the team. So it's something that we have to talk about. They've done a great job. The second half of the game, they were completely dominating over the Skyview Hawks. But I think there's really only one player we can really give it to, and that is Rye Fullerton. He had a fantastic second half as well as the first half. Yeah, Fullerton showing both ends of the game. He actually started things off with a 42-yard pass play that broke things open, and we thought for a while this game might be a runaway. Isaac Brennan had scored on a fumble return a few minutes before. The Huskies get the ball back, and on the first play of the second quarter, Dakota Perry hits Fullerton on that swing that he takes in for 42 yards for the touchdown. And then it was the first play, I believe, of the second. It was midway through the third quarter that when the game was down to a 3-point margin at 20-17, Fullerton then completed what was a long drive down the field with a 9-yard scamper, and that made it 27-17, and that really set the stage then for a short time after a little kickoff, and the Huskies score another touchdown, and then they spent 15 and a half minutes on 2 drives, which only actually netted 1 touchdown, but it killed the clock, and they get the 34-24 win. So, Rye Fullerton, our Idaho Transportation Department, IdahoSports.com Player of the Game. As we said, it was an interesting night. It was one that didn't quite follow any of the scripts we kind of anticipated coming in, because both these teams had scored a lot of points in some of their games, and Skyview had given up a lot of points, but they did a tremendous job here tonight to fight off until the Huskies finally found a little bit of groove, and they certainly didn't get blown away in this one and stayed right with it. And they're going to cause problems for everybody in the league going down, and they're not out of the playoff picture whatsoever. They may be 0-2 in the conference right now, but they've played
two of the three teams that were considered to be at the top of the conference when the year began, Valley View and Emmett, and of course right now top-ranked Bishop Kelly. So that is what they're facing. And for the Huskies, it's off to California next week. Hopefully they get healthy and they get back here healthy, and we'll be here for homecoming in 2 weeks at Husky Field when the Columbia Wildcats come to town, as the Huskies try to start the second half of their season with another SIC win. And keep in mind, they are still determined that somehow they're going to win their third straight Southern Idaho Conference Championship. Interesting day. Interesting game.
Good game. Good fundamental football by Emmett, and I'm excited to see where this goes from here. Showing a different side of them tonight, but I think it was a good side, especially showing that they can just really do that run, power, power paw offense that just rips down defenses. So showing multi-attacks for the Emmett Huskies, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the season.
It will be interesting. Thank you for joining us here tonight. This is Del Gray along with Chandler Gray from Husky Field, where tonight the Huskies have picked up a third straight victory, a 34-24 win over the Skyview Hawks. This ball game has been brought to you in part on IdahoSports.com by some of our local sponsors, Mountain West Building Supply, Gem Supply Co-op, and by Hannigan Auto Parts. Also helping out with our efforts this evening, our statewide sponsors for IdahoSports.com. Those being Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And our Treasure Valley game night is presented by Mountain West Bank. Want to thank Athletic Director Ashley Holt for setting us up here and making sure that everything is ready to go. The hospitality is always great. And again, congratulations to our IdahoSports.com player of the game. That is Rye Fullerton of Emmett. The final score here tonight, Emmett 34, Skyview 24. Good night, everyone.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission,